Let's get in here. 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 Woke family, y'all know the vibes, man. Y'all know what's going on. We're back for another one. I told you W Daily Streamer, man. You feel what I'm saying? We're back here for the 9 o'clock show. You feel what I'm saying? It's 8:57 Eastern time right now. Let's get into it, man. What is up, woke family? It's your boy Wokey Bucks, and I'm back again with another video, live stream, all the same thing. Listen, we have a lot to talk about tonight. You feel what I'm saying? First thing, I want to make this point very, very clear. The Matrix is attacking, right? So for those who don't understand what I mean by the Matrix, I'm talking about the powers that be. I'm talking about the world government, and this is the thing that we've been talking about on this channel for the past 2 years. If you're not aware about it by now, I don't know what to tell you. The point I can tell you, though, is that you have to understand, unless you are trying to make yourself the most or the best version of yourself, you are going to fall to the powers that be, right? You need to try to prepare yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, right? You have to prepare yourself in every single way possible, because when they attack, you don't know when it's going to happen. And when it does happen, you need to be prepared so that you can be able to fight them with every last drop of your blood. What do you guys see here that I have on this image right now? I have a picture of Andrew and Tristan Tate. Shout out to the Tate brothers, right? They are being held in Romanian prison now for at least the past 2 weeks. Well, almost tomorrow will make 2 weeks, right, that they've been held there. And it's because their message is basically to promote military-age, able-bodied men to be able to think for themselves. And the world government doesn't like that. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to imprison them. They're trying to jail them. They don't want them to be able to have a free mind and think and have other people think as well, too. Therefore, we're going to go into this video, you feel what I'm saying, where their lawyer is basically confronted by a random person, and we're going to see how he maintains his composure in response to the attack. So let's get into it. We have a lot of good videos to watch tonight, you feel what I'm saying. Let's get into it, woke family. Let's do this.
Andrew Tate's lawyer has finally spoken out in a full English interview explaining everything on this case. Drop a like on the video, guys. We'll talk about it as it proceeds in this interview. Let's get into it.
Hold on.
Who we find busy preparing the defense.
All right, we'll go back like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Okay. So December 30th, 2022. So this was about 10, 11 days ago. No, like 12, 13 days ago. All right. A profound lack of respect towards legal norms and a total indifference to protected social values is the judge's statement. I'm assuming he made towards Andrew and Tristan. So let's read it again. A profound lack of respect towards legal norms and a total indifference towards protected social values. I don't know what that means, but let's get into it.
We'll talk about it as it proceeds in this interview. Let's get into it.
To the Tate's lawyer, who we find busy preparing the defense, but also inundated by inquiries from the press. Now, your client, Andrew Tate, is accused of human trafficking and forming an organized crime group. Is that true? Is that what they've been doing here in Romania?
My clients, don't recognize the allegations against them, and their positions in front of the prosecutors and in front of the judge were not to recognize these felonies that pretending to be done by them. And they support us as a team of lawyers with all the proofs and evidences is needed to prove their innocency.
The prosecutor is quite a well-established person and would not have brought this case if they didn't have the evidence.
So where's the evidence then if they have the evidence? Like people like himself, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not even triggered, but I'm just being honest. I don't like people like himself who speak like they know everything. You're making it seem as if every single person that's a prosecutor in the history of every single civil case that's been filed against somebody has been 100% accurate and 100% right. How do you know that the evidence is not planted against them? You don't know, you're assuming. Right? And you're assuming that there's evidence. You said you would assume. That's idealism, my brother. That's not real. That's not reality. So we have to be very, very careful about how we say certain things, because we might not be sure whether it's true or false, you know?
Legally, yes, but we are now in a phase of investigation. It's not a public phase of a trial. And we are not talking in this moment if the defendant is guilty or is not guilty. regarding a felony, we are now in a phase that the prosecutors didn't finish the investigation.
This is why the Tate brothers are being
So he's saying that. So Tate's lawyer Eugene Vendenoshi, like we talked about. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, brother. But he's basically trying to say that they did not finish the investigation before filing the charges against them. And as you can see, that's wrong. You know.
detained for such a long time. To put it simply, the police do not have the evidence to support the allegations against the brothers yet. They're still investigating and finding out more evidence on this case to present to take to a trial. We haven't even got to the stage yet of saying they're not guilty or guilty because there's no...
And that doesn't mean that they're still not going to be detained for 30 days. So imagine them suffering in the cell for 30 days without any evidence against them. That's crazy. That's really corrupt, and it's crazy, and it's like, even though some people are going to end up coming out and saying, oh yeah, Tate said he wanted to live in a corrupt country, but it's like corruption in a way, at least according to what he's saying, in a way that benefits you, not in a way that doesn't benefit you. But I also understand that where some people are going to say, you know what, you got to take the good with the bad. I understand that, but this is crazy. 30 days in the cell without any evidence mounted against you off of what a woman in America said about you, even though the videotape evidence in April proved that they were innocent. Now they're still going through this nonsense. This is ridiculous, bro. Literally.
evidence to support it, and it hasn't actually been put towards them from the prosecutors.
And I think that it's very early to talk about if we have a case or we don't have a strong case. The prosecutor has also the possibility not to send this case in the court to be judged.
The prosecutor says 6 alleged victims were found, all women, at the Tate properties. Now, were these women being held there and exploited?
No, because the women came out and said that they weren't being exploited. So if 2 of the women and then another woman, that's 3 out of the 6 apparently that are said that they did these things, have said that they have not been SA'd, they have not been trafficked. What does that tell you? That it's fake. It's not real. It's not actually happening. And they're just trying so much to try to say that these people did this and that and the third, and it's not real. We got to do better.
From our point of view and from the position explained by our client, I will say a definitely no. And as argument to my position is the fact that when the investigator came in the house of our clients, the doors were opened, all the girls had access to their own phone number, cellular data. If somebody is kept in a house against his will,
they wouldn't have access to those things.
And he has his phone, and he has the possibility to post on social media, on Instagram, to make TikTok content, to talk to the phone, has the same possibility to call 112.
Or to just leave the house.
Or to just leave the house because we have the evidences by the cameras from the house that the girls were alone in the house, that they demand food at that address. They were ordering food. They were visiting the town, the mall. They were making shopping together.
The lawyer is putting forward a basic point that if these women that were at Andrew Tate's house were held against their will so much, they wouldn't have been given access to phones to get help from the outside world, calling family and stuff like that. But then the interviewer confronts him on this and says that apparently he was employing the lover boy method.
You're making it seem like women don't do the exact same thing to men that they want to use for Uber and for Popeyes, bro. Like, let's stop. You have a lot of women out here that do the exact same thing. So listen, right? Why is it a problem when a man does it? Why is it a problem when a man does it? It's always a problem when a man does it. When you live in a matriarchal society, you see all of these things. There are women out here that are playing men and that are using them for Uber, using them for Popeyes and food, using them for money, whatever. And they're not taking them seriously. And this man is actually changing these women's lives. He's actually helping them, taking care of them, right? You have women like Cardi B that came out and talked about, oh, I was drugging and raping men, and she's still free to this day after she openly snitched on herself. But nobody says anything. Nobody says anything. Nobody says anything, bro. That's a problem. Seriously, that's a problem. Real talk. I'm not gonna cap. Woke family, listen. We are one tight-knit community here. We're not gonna cap. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna tell the truth. The reality of the situation is that in regards to Tate, bro, the thing is that you think if they were really trafficked like they're saying that they were, that they would have been able to have access to their phones. And on top of that, all of these things were recorded on the camera in their house. And the Romanian police and the government had seen this the first time and they let them go. But I'm going to tell you what the situation is. The reason why they're doing everything in which they're doing right now is just because they were under pressure from big tech, right? A lot of these American companies to be able to get those people, or to be able to get Andrew and Tristan apprehended, to be able to get them locked up so they can plant evidence against them and lock them up. Because when you try to, like I said, mobilize the military-age men, they don't want you to do that. They're going to call you misogynist. They're going to call you a sexist. They're going to call you a neo-Nazi. They're going to call you a racist. They're going to try to keep you down. That's what's going on right now. You feel me? But let's continue.
Meaning that had attachment to him, but he was just using it to his financial gain.
But just because they have the ability to leave and to order food and go shopping, that doesn't mean that they're not being human trafficked. According to some experts, Andrew Tate employs the lover boy method, which is to make the women fall in love with them, make them feel under his control, to handle all of the finances and make them dependent on him. Is it true that Andrew Tate has been employing the lover boy technique, which technically speaking is human trafficking?
How is the lover boy method human trafficking? All right, you know what we're gonna do? Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second, because I think that when certain people say certain things which we're not sure, or which they're not sure themselves, we gotta verify it, bro. Because it's stuff like this that gets me tight. I'm not gonna lie, it gets me very angry. Hold on one second. The lover boy method. Let's search this up. Let's see what this is. Right. Let's see. Okay, can y'all see my screen? Perfect. Okay. So it says, traditionally, a lover boy seduces young, vulnerable girls and boys over a long period of time in order to exploit them sexually later on. So this practice is used less and less. Nowadays, lover boys resort more quickly and frequently to threatening their victims using blackmail and violence. All right? So let's go back and read this again real quick. We're not going to read the whole thing, but we're going to read what's in the black. So a lover boy seduces young, vulnerable girls and boys over a lengthy period of time in order to exploit them sexually. So this is the thing. They're trying to claim that Andrew and Tristan have been exploiting these women. But these women have also come out and said that he never trafficked them, right? He never seduced them. He never did any of those things. 3 out of the apparent 6 women, and that they've lived with him for years, and that they've never seen him do these things. So where are they getting this information from? And is it even accurate to begin with? This is what people don't question. Imagine if you went to jail. Imagine if I went to jail and people said that we did something that we didn't even do. We got to do better as people, man. It's bad.
A pity that at this moment, legally speaking, because the investigation is not public, I am not allowed by the law to give more details. But I will give you that this lover boy method is not sustained by the evidences, and we have contrary evidences. And I am wondering, were all the girls so in love with Andrew Tate that all of the girls had their brain washed by this method of lover boy?
But as his lawyer, are you aware of the numerous bits of video evidence that are out there on YouTube and elsewhere, where your client talks very explicitly about how he controls the women who work for him? It's very clear from the public record that he's already talked about the lover boy technique and how to control and manipulate these women.
Okay. I don't know by heart all the videos of Andrew Tate. We are now in a phase that we have to prepare other type of defendings for our clients. But I wondering myself, are we talking about the real Andrew Tate on those videos, or are you talking about a character?
Exactly. That's the problem. And the thing is that people will try to use the character in which they see people portray on social media and take it as if it's real life, but it's not really real life. You know?
Now, this is going to be the most essential part of this case, is are the court, and if there is a jury that decides this, going to distinguish between Andrew Tate himself and Andrew Tate, the character online. There is humor involved. There is certain things he's even apologized for, like on the Piers Morgan interview. He did say he was wrong about something because he converted on his religion. But are the court going to accept that? It's up to a jury at the end of the day. But his lawyer seems like he's going to make a point of putting it forward.
Because from my point of view, as you know, nowadays a lot of people are posting content on the internet just to sell an image,
That's facts. That's big facts.
a character. I am not sure that we are talking about the real person, Andrew Tate.
In previous videos, we have seen your client, Andrew Tate, boasting of being able to pay off the Romanian criminal justice system. So is that the intention for Andrew Tate now that he's actually, in jail? Is he going to try to buy off the Romanian criminal justice system?
For sure, no. As a lawyer, I can say a big no. A big no.
He's going to have to go through...
And I don't want to answer, to comment anymore, because I don't know this statement of my client, this declaration of my client.
But again, you might think that that's just him playing a character.
It is possible. It is possible.
When your client was arrested, he said very enigmatically, the Matrix has sent their agents to get me. The Matrix has attacked me. Can you explain what he means by that?
I also don't know. I heard the story of Matrix, but I don't know. I have a serious profession, and I didn't ask my client about this Matrix story because I think that is about something on media platforms or internet platforms.
Well,
and I don't know about this story with Matrix.
He thinks there is a global system that includes big tech and governments and so on, that is trying to control and inhibit the way pretty much everyone lives, and that he has been targeted by them. Some people might even call it the deep state, if you like. He has been targeted by them because...
It's true. There was somebody that came out with the tweet. I didn't delete the tweet. I think I lost my information. What they came out with the tweet that's saying that from his reputable sources, right? From his reputable sources, that by the end of 2022, which was about 2 weeks ago, right? By the end of 2022, that Andrew and Tristan would be arrested. He posted this in October of 2022, so this was about 3 months ago, and it came to surpass, or it came to happen, right? It just goes to show you that it's probably the Matrix, right? They're attacking, bro. And I'm just telling y'all right now, woke family, when times get tough and the same thing happens to us, we got to be ready to fight.
he is trying to emancipate young men. Now, do you believe that as his lawyer?
I don't believe that. And I think that if you are talking about my client beliefs, you should ask him at the proper time about this matter. This matter, it doesn't have to do anything with my activity as lawyer.
Just a final question then. I know you visit your client perhaps twice a day sometimes. How is Mr. Tate doing?
He is not very well. He's disappointed, but he is willing to resist and to help the investigators to find the truth, to present all the evidences that he has in his favor, and he hopes that he will take part, it will take part of a fair trial.
Like I said in my last video, guys, I'm not sure an exact criminal system in Romania, but the least Andrew Tate should get is a fair trial. No corrupt business involved. I'm not sure if there's a jury in Romania or it's going to come to that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Leave a like and subscribe with the notification bell for all the latest.
All right, guys, we're going to get into the next video. It's going to be Piers Morgan versus Alex Jones. Shout out to Alex Jones. Shout out to Piers Morgan, man. Let's do this. All right.
Now, that doesn't mean that anything goes. Free speech has its limits. Even in America, with its fabled First Amendment, there are limits. You can't famously run into a theater in America and shout fire and create a stampede where people might die. So there are limits to free speech.
Are there limits to free speech on social media, or should there be limits to free speech on social media? That's what you should be asking, Pierce, instead of stating the obvious that there's limits. Obviously, there is, right?
All around the world. But my guest tonight, well, he tests free speech to, I would argue, its breaking point. His name is Alex Jones. He's a hugely influential, to many people, a very dangerous conspiracy theorist who's made himself hugely rich, peddling a lot of lies. This is what happened when we met last, debating gun laws a decade ago.
So you guys haven't spoken in 10 years, but you said that this is what happened and you guys met, or when you said he's peddling lies. So you already started off negative. Why are you speaking negative on this man's name? But you're inviting him onto your show. That's weird.
On CNN. How many gun murders were there in Britain?
How many great white sharks
How many
kill people every year, but they're scared to swim? And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. But you've got hordes of people burning down cities and beating old women's brains out every day.
Let's try again. How many gun murders were there?
Oh, you're going to ban your fist now?
In Britain last year?
How many chimpanzees can dance on the head of a pin?
Well, I've not spoken to Alex Jones in an interview format since that day.
That's 10 years. That's crazy. So what was that, 2013?
He is now, I would say comfortably, the world's most notorious conspiracy theorist. As I say, I defend everybody's right to an honestly held opinion. I defend everyone's right to use words of their choice, but that doesn't mean they're not accountable for those words. And I don't think Alex Jones necessarily trades in honestly held
Here's get to the point, bro.
opinions, but we'll come to that when I talk to him. Very few tragedies have ever moved me the way that Sandy Hook did. I was on air at CNN at the time that that story broke. 20 children, aged between 6 and 7, were murdered by a lunatic with a semi-automatic rifle. Alex Jones told his many followers within a few hours it was all a hoax, a government hoax, a deep state plot to justify seizing guns. He said that the grieving families were actors.
The general public doesn't know the school was actually closed the year before. They don't know they've shielded all, demolished the building. They don't know that they have the kids going in circles in and out of the building as a photo op, blue screen, green screens. But it took me about a year with Sandy Hook to come to grips with the fact that the whole thing was fake. I mean, even I...
Okay, I'll be honest. That specific point that Alex Jones made, I don't agree with. But I do believe that it's good for us to stand up for free speech, and he does promote that. But I don't agree with that specific quote he just said, or that specific statement he just made.
I couldn't believe it. I knew they jumped on it, used the crisis, hyped it up, but then I did deep research, and my gosh, it just pretty much didn't happen.
Well, it did happen. Those children did get murdered.
All right, let's get to
They were riddled with bullets by an AR-15 semi-automatic.
Here's this good
Him tonight. He wanted to come on and talk to me and to explain what's gone down here and where he's found himself, which is facing a $1.5 billion payout to the families in various lawsuits that they took. And I do believe that people should be allowed to express themselves as long as they're held to account and they're challenged on that. And that's what we're going to do tonight with Alex Jones. So my guest tonight is Alex Jones. He's over in Texas in America. Alex, good evening to you.
Piers, it's good to be here with you after 10 years and the biggest news event on CNN in 2013. So the circle is now complete. But you just spent 8 minutes saying a lot of things that were true, a lot of things that weren't true. So I'd like to address that right now if I can. When I came on your show months and months after Sandy Hook, in the CNN studios in New York, I never said it didn't happen. I never sent people to their houses. When the internet went totally viral in the next year, questioning it with anomalies, I did cover 23 minutes, is what they introduced in court, over the next few years, a few times. We're talking 5-6 shows. What the internet was questioning on my call-in radio show with a document cam on air. But I did not build my career off Sandy Hook. I barely, not even 1/10 of 1%, covered it. And so to say that I sent people to harass families, or
I didn't say that.
peed on the graves of the
I
children.
didn't say that.
Let him, Pierce, let him talk, bro. Let him talk. Let him explain himself.
I didn't
but
say you
that's what
sent
the media-
anyone to do
hold
anything.
on.
No,
I just
Alex,
thought 30
look, I want to
seconds.
have a Alex. I want to have a
Just want 8
reasonable.
minutes.
Let me just say, I want to have a reasonable conversation. I don't want to get into the screaming match that descended into last time. I think that's futile of everyone watching. You are now a very infamous person around the world. You know that. A lot of people know about you, what they've read, most of it negative. This is your chance to explain what's happened and to, if you want to, express remorse for things that you've got wrong and done wrong. You find yourself in a very bad place right now. You're facing paying out potentially $1.5 billion to these families. You've said that you don't have that money, you can't pay that money. So far, you haven't paid any of the money. How do you feel, first of all, about the fact that you faced this gigantic, victory for the families and defeat for you?
Okay, so you did 8 minutes and 45 seconds attacking me. I got 30 seconds. I will answer your question in a moment, but I want to get something completely straight. I came on your show months and months and months and months after it happened. I blamed the serotonin reuptake inhibitors, the antidepressants. I blamed the mother getting them the gun on your show. So the claim that I first questioned Sandy Hook, or I first did it, was a bunch of professors and a bunch of media people. It became a huge story. I looked at it and said, yeah, we've seen WMDs in Iraq. We've seen Operation Northwoods. We see Justice Smollett. Later, we see now admitted in the Twitter files that they had thousands of fake doctors online saying the shot was safe and effective and protected you, something you've come out and said was wrong and was a lie. So I always questioned every major event, but I did not make my bones on Sandy Hook. I barely covered it on your show months and months and months after it happened.
Here's
Let him finish, bro. Let him finish. Let him finish.
What
I did
say
not
to you.
cover it long,
Here's what I would say to you.
after.
Listen, I don't. You may well categorize this as a very small part of your career. Unfortunately for you, it's now become this gigantic part of your career because of the nature of this payout. So
That's
my first
totally
question,
true. So
my
let me
first
respond to your
question is
question.
simply to ask you, what did you feel about the size of the payout you've been ordered to pay, and the fact that you suffered one of the biggest losses of any lawsuit?
Why do you keep bringing up the fact that he's taking L's, bro? Like, you called him on this show to be able to ask him a question and get his side. This is why, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is why people don't watch you, bro. This is why people don't watch you, bro, because the thing is that you don't allow people to talk. You might think that you're bringing up controversial stuff, but it's like, bro, allow the man to get his point across. Like, come on, bro.
Of that nature in modern history.
Well, I mean, it's not one of the biggest; it's the biggest. And so if you actually want the inside baseball and know what actually went on, I'm really happy to tell you.
Well, I'm
You're
more interested in
savvy
how you.
media
I'm more
person.
interested, Alex, in how you built this empire, and I'm going to come to how you built it in a moment. You built this empire as a very provocative. Many would argue they found you very entertaining as well, high energy. Mischief-making shock jock, for want of a better phrase, who went on the airwaves and said a lot of very controversial things and built up a very big following and made a vast amount of money doing it. I mean, you wouldn't dispute any of that, right? That's not attacking you. That's just a statement of fact.
So listen, but I'm happy to come on, but you've had 90% of the talk time. So
But
can I
it is
just
my,
have 10%?
Alex, it is my show.
So so do you want to talk, or are you trying to interview him then? What do you want to do? Yes, it's your show, but let him talk. Let him talk. You tried to interview him, bro. Like, this is an L.
I just want you to answer.
Oh, I get it.
want
Well,
to
then you can just say what you want about
I
me.
understand. Again, I don't want to have a confrontational interview. I simply
So talk, and then know when to stop talking, bro. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You invited him on, let him speak, and then you can ask questions in the middle. But if you're not going to even allow him the chance to speak, then what's the point?
simply want to ask you, as I say, you've built this big empire, and now the entire empire has been imperiled by losing this lawsuit. I mean, you wouldn't dispute that.
No. I have more than 15 offers right now on huge networks if my system goes under. Let me just explain something to you, and let's talk facts, okay? Here's a timeline of 10 and a half years since, or 10 years, 2 months since Sandy Hook. It happens the first year. I don't think it's staged. It becomes a huge internet thing that it's staged. I have a few debates. I have a few guests on. I cover it. I said, yeah, it could be staged. So much stuff is staged. Then I go 2+ years, 2015 into 16, never discussing it. This all came out in the lawsuit. And then they run against Trump. Hillary runs $30 million of TV ads showing edited clips of me saying synthetic event never happened. And then Trump still wins. And we now learned after the lawsuits, they hired a high-powered New York think tank PR firm to then make it a huge story. Tens of thousands of articles, thousands of newscasts about me in 2016, 17 about Sandy Hook. I go, whoa, those anomalies I heard from those professors and people were wrong. I think it happened. Nobody sued me. Go on Joe Rogan, apologize, do a whole apology tour because I wasn't sophisticated back then. I'm like, yeah, I think it happened. I barely covered it. Then they sue me once I apologize. They have a judge in Texas, in Austin, is as liberal as San Francisco, and in Connecticut, sue me. Then I give them all my text, all my documents, which they show in court, but say I gave them no documents. They default me. First time in modern U.S. history, I'm found guilty by judges, and juries then have hearings on how guilty I am. Then they have a false financial expert get up and say I'm worth $400 million. At the time they did that 6 months ago in that hearing in Texas, in that kangaroo operation, I had like $3 million in the bank.
Well, you say, okay, let me, all right, let me
But
jump
see,
in.
hold on,
Let me-
Piers,
let me
you're
jump- I know,
buying-
but you can't just keep talking, Alex. Let me just explain to you what I think.
Oh, God forbid I get a third of the time you get.
Well, you know what? It's my show. It's the way it works. On your show,
I
you
get
get
it.
90% of the time on your show. If I was a guest on your
I'm not gonna lie, Pierce, this is an L, bro.
Get it.
sure.
You don't want to, I'm just telling
No,
you,
I
Piers,
just wanna have a
I wanna
normal
have a real
debate.
discussion.
Let's have a normal debate. I want to play you a clip. This is a clip of one of the parents from Sandy Hook, because you've talked about this at length now, Nicole Hockley. And I want to talk after this clip. I want you to just listen to what she had to say to me recently on the show.
He did his first broadcast saying that he thought this was a false flag when I was still in the firehouse and I didn't even know if my child was alive or dead yet. He started off within 2.5 hours of the shooting and has kept putting out video after video for year after year after year, and calling us all crisis actors, calling our children, either that they were never killed or they were never alive in the first place, that we're traitors, that we're treasonous, and that we're government shills. It's been very difficult. It's been easy to turn off some of it, but some of these people have been incredibly dangerous. And when he says, when he stokes this anger in his base, this fear, and then incites them to action by saying, we need to investigate this, you need to look into this more.
I mean, like I said, rest in peace to all the victims who did pass away from Sandy Hook. It did happen in my home state. I am from Connecticut. It happened in Newtown, so probably about an hour and a half away from where I am. It is unfortunate, but at the same time as well, too, we put everything and we put our faith and we put our trust in God. Like I said before, again, I think Alex Jones is definitely a martyr for free speech, but that specific take that he made, I don't agree with 100%. Let's continue, though.
More. They come at us. So part of it's just social media comments, which can be damaging. It's defaming. It's hurting your reputation. People, I don't know if I'm walking around who thinks I'm real and who thinks I'm an actress. It's damaging to my son's memory in terms of his life, his short 6-year-old life. It's damaging to my surviving son because I don't know what he's going to deal with going forward. But it's also scared the living daylights out of me. I sleep with weapons by my bedside. I've received death threats. I've received harassing calls and mail. I've had people send me pictures of dead children because they say, as a crisis actor, you have no idea what a dead child looks like. So
That's sickening. Bro, we live in an evil world, bro. I keep saying it.
let me send you this picture so you can see it. This is stuff that has really not only just been distressing, it's disturbing.
And you know what the sad part is? Like, I'm going to be honest with y'all, Woke family. I think that when people go through situations like this, it makes them to become a lot more traumatized. And I think that it's one thing if a man goes through this and it's another thing if a woman goes through this. I don't think that as a woman, she should be going through a lot of trauma. Not her specifically, but I'm saying in general, women in general, they should go through as little to no trauma as possible so that they can become the most feminine versions of themselves. You see that when a woman goes through a lot of trauma, she ends up holding up her guard and becomes a lot more masculine. As you can hear what she just said right now, she sleeps with guns next to her bedside. You feel what I'm saying? Or something like that. Point is that it's going to happen when she's gone through a lot of trauma. People are sending her pictures of dead bodies. That's sickening. You know what I'm saying? We got to do better.
And in terms of security, you know, I'm just a mom. I'm just trying to look after my surviving son, run my organization, and make some good in the world. I didn't choose to be part of this. Alex Jones chose to tell lies, knowing that they were lies, and continuing to harbor that lie and make it happen for his own profit.
What's your reaction to that woman who lost her son, Dylan, at Sandy Hook?
Total garbage. Never said her name. Only person's name I said was Robbie Parker. 30-something million views on YouTube. He was laughing. Everything suddenly started crying.
Your response to that woman's incredibly powerful,
So you're going to give me 5 seconds?
account.
This isn't a,
How can your
this isn't a
first response
discussion,
be
Piers.
total garbage?
Yeah, this is not a discussion. Pierce is coming in here with an agenda. It's a clear agenda, bro. If you're going to ask him a question, let him talk. Let him talk, bro. Do better. Let him talk.
This is, well, I guess I can't do this interview. People have to go to Infowars.com later and I'll respond to you. You're not letting me talk. I never said her name. Under Connecticut and Texas law, you can't sue somebody for defamation if you never said their name. I didn't do any of those things. I was on your show months and months after it happened and said it happened and said it was Prozac. I looked at both of the views and they clipped that out to attach themselves to me on air. I never talked about that woman. I didn't even know who she was.
You said it was
So
a
you're
hoax,
sitting
Alex. You said it was a hoax. You said it was phony
Yes,
as a
years later,
$3 bill. You said the entire thing is a giant hoax.
I thought Jussie
Remember, this
Smollett
is
was
the White
fake. I
House
thought
has been
WMDs
running
were
the
fake.
fake Bin Laden raid. People just know there's a lot of fraud going on. You've got
Here's what I'm going to say to you, Piers.
Wait a second, Alex.
Piers, let me talk
You
for
said-
5 seconds.
Let me finish.
You sent me a list of topics.
Let me finish.
You sent me a list of topics.
I'm gonna come to
and I
those.
said I'd come on, and one of them is Sandy Hook. I'm on for an hour. Let's talk about the Davos group.
Yes.
Let's talk about the
We're
war in
going to come
Ukraine.
to other-
Let's talk about internet censorship.
Alex.
Let's talk about the vaccines. When
Alex.
are we going to talk about other topics? Because they're attacked. They live off me. I didn't make money off Sandy
No,
Hook.
they don't
They've
live
got
off you.
$73 million from Remington. They
Alex.
live off Sandy Hook. I don't.
Okay, here's what I would say to you. Maybe one of the reasons that they have a problem with you and what you did is that you were saying on air things like you've got parents laughing, ha, ha, ha. Then they walk over to the camera and go boo, hoo, hoo. And not just one, but a bunch of parents doing this. And then photos of kids that are still alive, they say dead. I mean, they think we're so dumb. These were parents who
Yes,
were
I
in,
told you
these
that I
were
said the
parents in
Robbie
the
Parker
grip
thing.
of unbelievable trauma.
Yeah, listen. And Madeleine Albright, Secretary of State under Clinton, was asked by Leslie Stahl in 60 Minutes that Clinton tripled sanctions on Iraq to kill 2 million people, 500,000 children. She said it was a good thing to do. She'd do it again. I didn't kill 500,000 children. I question all these events because many of them are provocateur
No, but I
or
understand
staged.
that. I understand that, but I also understand the
What about all the
obvious
kids
hurt.
dying from the poisoned shots?
Let me just
What about the
finish. I
CDC
also
admitting it causes myocarditis
Here's the
heart attacks?
problem, Alex.
Oh,
The problem is
okay,
you
if
have
I deserve to die for questioning a mass shooting, then what happens to the big companies that sold these poison shots that weren't approved and weren't safe and didn't
Here's my
protect us?
question.
What
Here's
happens
my-
to them while you're? I'm the worst guy in the world.
Alex.
So Piers, hold on. I'm the worst guy in the world, right?
I didn't say that.
I told them in a deposition that back when this went on, and I started questioning it like 9 years ago, about a year after, when I said false flag, I believe they may have protected him. They may have known it was coming. Like Uvalde, 75 minutes, the police stood down. I believe that was a real shooter. Real kids died. In Florida, at Parkland, there was a stand down. Why the police chief said, well, he thought he'd already killed all the kids, so he didn't want more death. That was in the news. That was in the Dallas Morning News yesterday. I'm questioning Parkland, saying, did they let it happen? That's a false flag. To say a false flag doesn't mean the parents are fake. I apologized on Joe Rogan before I was sued. I apologized on dozens of shows when they brought this up in 2016.
All right,
and
but
then
here's
they
my
sued
question.
me.
Here's my
And
question.
then they went on the news and said I was currently
All right.
sending people to their houses. Where is the video of me saying go to their houses?
Alex?
Where is the video of me pissing on their graves?
Alex?
It's not true.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. If there are videos coming out saying that Alex did all those things and he didn't do it, that's just wrong. I'm gonna be honest.
No.
They're raising money on my name.
Alex, let me respond. I want to just try and get inside your head for a moment and see whether you have ever fully comprehended the scale of what happened to these families, because as things stand, I believe 20% of Americans, 1 in 5, believe that mass shootings like Sandy Hook are staged. A lot of that is down to somebody like you with your huge following, which you built up, consistently suggesting they're staged, including Sandy Hook. This is what happened to some of the families, okay? Erica Lafferty, whose mother was killed, has had to move 5 times since the shooting and avoids going to the grocery store because people tell her
They say they didn't show any evidence.
Let me just finish. Let me finish, then I'll ask you a question.
The judges found me guilty. That's
Alex,
illegal.
I know. Let me just finish. She said it got scary and more graphic. Things would be mailed to her house that were threats of rape.
The 500,000 dead Iraqis?
Jennifer Hensel and Jeremy Rickman, parents of 6-year-old Aviel, who was killed, set up a foundation for their daughter. Soon after, email addresses attached to the foundation.
What about the cops killed by Black Lives Matter?
Let me finish. We're flooded with messages saying Aviel didn't exist, that Hensel and others were actors, and questioned why money was being raised from a fake shooting. In 2019, Jeremy Rickman, Aviel's father, killed himself. Friends called Hensel, his wife, Jennifer, to tell her people were at the cemetery where Aviel was buried looking for evidence that her husband had actually died. David Wheeler, the father of 6-year-old Ben Wheeler, who died at Sandy Hook, detailed
Did he leave?
2 instances in which people actually showed up at his home demanding to see Ben, insisting he was alive. He said people also pointed to a student film he made in college as proof he was a crisis actor. Robbie and Alyssa Parker, and you did mention Robbie Parker, who I interviewed many times and felt a deep affinity with, and you said he was laughing after his poor little girl was killed. But she said that, Alyssa, his wife, said that the vicious comments on the memorial Facebook page honouring her daughter were so terrifying she couldn't remember much of her daughter's funeral. Mark Banston, the lawyer representing the Sandy Hook families,
Piers.
said there were people threatening to kill us.
You said one of your topics was Sandy Hook. Here's the deal. They showed no proof of that in court. The judge didn't let me defend myself.
Okay.
You just
Alex,
want to sit here and talk about Sandy Hook.
I want to
move on to other topics.
My question is simply this. When you hear about the impact on these poor families whose children, aged 6, were blown to pieces in a school, when you hear about the impact, do you have any real regret or remorse about fueling this idea that it was staged and hoaxed and they were comic actors?
You let me talk at all? Adam Lanza killed those children, not me. A Democratic Party PR firm looked at Trump, looked at me in 2016.
That wasn't my question.
Brought up Sandy Hook.
That wasn't my question.
I'm going to explain to you again. I'm going to say again. The media took what I said out of context.
They didn't.
Years later, magnified it. Let me finish. To make a political hit point on me and on Trump, and they blew it all up and then said I was doing it. They have no proof I ever sent anybody to their houses. I didn't. I a few times questioned it on air. I became super famous.
You said it was a hoax and a fake.
To me. They've raised hundreds of millions in donations, 73 million from Remington. Now they're coming after the First Amendment. It's insane. And I told you I'd come on and briefly talk about Sandy Hook. You sent a whole list of topics. Now I want you to be true to your word and not a deceptive person, Piers. We have spent 24 minutes on Sandy Hook. I want to move on to the Davos group.
I just want you to answer the question first. Before we move on, do you feel, when you hear these accounts of what happened to these families, do you feel a sense of personal regret and remorse that your actions on air, inspired a lot of people to think these people were actors and they're...
You asked him a question, Pierce. Let him finish it. Let him answer your question, bro. Like, why are you being so uptight? I don't understand it, man.
Kids didn't really die. Do you feel genuine remorse?
You let me talk for any? 500,000 Iraqi children starved to death.
No, that's
Madeleine
not the
Albright
question.
did it on purpose and said, no. I feel way less. No, I legitimately question Sandy Hook, and I stand by what I did.
You said it was a fake and a hoax.
You let me finish? Attach themselves to me to raise money and to claim I'm doing things to them I didn't do, to raise money and to try to take over my life, and no, I don't. I apologize before they sued me if I ever hurt anybody's feelings, and I'm supposed to apologize forever and ever in some communist struggle session.
I just asked you whether you feel regret and remorse. I asked you whether you feel regret and remorse for fueling this belief that Sandy Hook was staged and fake. That's the only question I asked you.
When you give an apology, which I've given over 150 times, you're done with the apology. type in Alex Jones apologizes for Sandy Hook. You'll have it before they sued me, so I'll point you to that. You're so good at all your clips, but no, I'm not going to come back on your show in 10 years and you'll say, do you now apologize? If I sat here and slit my throat on air, it wouldn't be enough for you. I legitimately question mass events because of things like Operation Northwoods.
I think the problem is that, like, even with the mistake that Alex Jones made, Pierce tries to make it seem as if he's on a moral high ground, like he's better than the people he interviews, like Ye or Andrew Tate. And it's like, bro, like, I understand that you want viral videos, millions of views, cool, but it's like, bro, if you're gonna invite people on your podcast or on your like to your show, and you're gonna interview them, bro, at least be fair enough to at least let them speak. You keep trying to overtake them, bro. Like, if they were speaking for any more than probably like 3, 4, 5 minutes, cool. Do what you got to do. I understand it, but it's like, bro, if you're gonna invite them on and you can't even let them speak, that's a L, bro. You're taking massive L's right now.
That called for staging mass shootings that didn't occur in the United States. Look it up, ABC News, Operation Northwoods. I came on here, Piers, to have a real discussion with you and ask for money. Imagine the biggest settlement ever, fentanyl, settlements for OxyContin, settlements that have killed millions of people, and this settlement is way bigger. And they say Jones refuses to pay. I don't have $5 million, much less $1.5 billion. So when they say I refuse to pay, if I have 3 gallons of blood in my body, and they say we want 1,000 gallons, I don't have 1,000 gallons of blood.
Okay, we've got to take a short commercial break, Alex. We'll come back and we will talk about other things after the break. Well, welcome back. Alex Jones is still with me. Alex, we'll move on to other things. I looked at the InfoWars website tonight. You were leading several hours ago, actually, on the story which I addressed at the top of the show, which is about this ludicrous idea that the word field is racist. I'm sure there are a number of things like that on which we would have complete agreement. But I also found a piece on your website near the top today, which said the following: falsehoods have far-reaching costs in livelihoods and lives. Lack of integrity and conflicts of interest have led to an unprecedented institutional false information pandemic. There is nothing that dispels false narratives better than personal inquiry and critical thinking. So the next time conflicted institutions cry woeful wolf or vicious variant or whatever it is, we need to think twice. So very strong worded piece there about the danger of falsehoods. Do you agree with that?
Well, let me answer your question, and we'll finish up the Sandy Hook thing. I wish that I wasn't misled by some of those professors and people that thought that it was staged. It was a very small part of what I did. I tried to apologize. I tried to settle. I tried to make restitution. And then they misrepresented. When I was in the Texas trial, you can look at this, they had one of the mothers on who lost her son. And I went on my show that morning and taped it before I went to court. And I said, I think she's real. I think her son died. I'd seen her testimony the day before. And I'm very sorry that Adam Lanza did this. And then she went on the stand and said, Jones attacked me and said I'm an actress. It's all fake today. And I walked over to her during the break and I said, watch my show from today. Your lawyers lied to you. And the next day she came up and cried and shook my hand. And Scarlett Lewis had said, oh my God, it's true. I saw you did say that. So there's a lot of manipulation here. Look, I didn't do this consciously. I think their children died, but I think you're being manipulated by groups. I wish I never would have said it. We do have to have guidelines. I have messed up a lot in my life, Piers. And listen, that's what
and that's what the moral high ground is about, bro. Like, and this is what I'm talking about. And I say that because it's like, I think that we all as human beings try to make it seem as if we have to be perfect, right? We're imperfect beings. No matter how perfect we try to behave or make it seem like we're imperfect. We all have flaws. We all have faults. And I think that it's a problem when you're not allowed to be able to give the opportunity to be able to go back on your mistakes without people criticizing you and judging you all the time, like they themselves are better than the person that they're criticizing. It's hypocritical. And now in regards to the Sandy Hook situation, obviously it's a little bit more different, but all in all, bro, we got to do better as people, bro. This is bad. Woke family, we got to step up, bro.
I said a love-hate relationship with you, and I sent you an audio message yesterday. I watched the intro to your show, and I was like, man, I wish I was as good as this guy. Because I covered the same stuff today, but the way you brought up them saying the word America is bad, and the way you pointed out that it's not by itself, that it's a cult that wants to control language, I was like, that guy's a master of really understanding this attack on our freedom. And I wish he knew that I was a real guy, and I'm just learning.
The difference, Alex, honestly, the difference between us, I would say, is this. I have always strived, not always successfully, but I've always strived in my career to put a premium on accuracy and facts, because I think without that, you have nothing. I would argue, and this is your chance to dispel this notion, that over the years, you have deliberately and systematically used conspiracy theories, which I suspect you know are not true, to fuel interest in a large number of people who then go and buy your products, which you sell, which are a massive part of your business and have made you hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm going to give you some examples collectively, so let me just read them out.
Hold on,
and you can talk
everybody
about
has sponsors that sells
I'll give you a
product.
chance to respond when I've read them. But this is some of the stuff you said on air, right? In 2017, you had to apologize after promoting the infamous Pizzagate fake story that a Washington pizza restaurant was the locale of a child sex abuse ring run by Hillary Clinton and her campaign chairman. After 9/11, you called it an inside job perpetrated by the US government. You said that chemicals in the water, which are put there by the government, are turning frogs gay in a gay bomb. You said Michelle Obama is a man. In a 12-minute video, you analyzed footage of photographs proving that Mrs. Obama has a penis. You said that Robert Mueller, the former FBI director who investigated Trump's Russia ties, which turned out to be a
Can we
fake
stop?
story,
Can we hold on?
was
Can
a
we take
demonic,
each one of these in a
was a demonic paedophile and said that's a demon I will take down or die trying. He's obviously not a paedophile, and so on. So here's my point, Alex. Are you there? You keep flashing up your info. You don't need to promote InfoWars. We all know about it.
Listen, what I'm
Here's
trying
my
to tell
point.
you is
on the front page
you
of
make all these
InfoWars,
charges
Alex,
and I can't respond.
let me ask you the question I'm about to ask you. I read a piece on InfoWars all about the danger of falsehoods, right? The cost to livelihoods and lives, the problem with lack of integrity and a false information pandemic. Your website is promoting that thinking, that it's wrong to have false information put out there. And yet the guy behind the website making all the money is the guy saying all this stuff, which is obviously
All right,
complete
you just
nonsense.
talked for 4
And here's
minutes.
my point,
Can I
Alex.
talk now?
You know it's nonsense, don't you?
You're scared to let me talk.
Your chance to respond.
No, I don't know it's nonsense. And if you took your time through all those points you just raised, I can back every one of them. There are more than 1,000 university studies from England to Australia to South Africa to Mexico to Austin, Texas, that atrazine is literally making male frogs gay. They don't want to have sex with female frogs, and their populations are plummeting and even becoming extinct. Boom. Then 9/11, I don't think radical Islam doesn't exist. There were criminal elements in our government that it came out even in the hearings that stood down and did nothing. So you rattle off
9/11 was not an inside job. Michelle Obama is not a man. Robert Mueller is not a demonic
let me
paedophile.
talk about Michelle Obama.
And
Let me
in
talk about Michelle
Pizzagate,
Obama.
Hillary
Let me
Clinton
talk about
didn't
Michelle
run a
Obama.
child abuse
Let me
ring
talk
from a
about- let me
pizza
talk about
restaurant.
Big Mike.
These are all ridiculous lies.
Let
And
me
here's the
respond.
point, Alex. You're not a stupid
You just
man.
repeated them again.
You're not a
Okay,
stupid
I'm going to talk
man.
over you then.
You know these things
If you
are
don't let me talk, I'm
untrue.
going to talk over you. Let me talk. That is a transcript you have. I was playing a clip of Joan Rivers 2 months before she died with fire exploding out of her mouth in a surgery. She said, Michelle Obama is a tranny. Everybody knows that we already have a gay president. And I was quoting what she said, and I was questioning what people were saying. That's Joan Rivers. Now let's move on. What was the other one? What was the other one you were saying?
Robert Mueller is a demonic paedophile.
Robert Mueller is definitely... Okay, let's talk about Pizzagate. I didn't generate Pizzagate. It was in the WikiLeaks documents. A whole bunch of Aleister Crowley Satanism.
You
and
apologize
the
because
8-year-olds
you
we-
promoted that conspiracy theory too.
No.
Here's my point, Alex. I don't think you
got me
really
here.
believe any of these things. I think you realized early on in your life that there was a lot of money to be made from fueling conspiracy theories, and you have made
You're right. I
a
said
ton of
Jeffrey
money
Epstein.
from it.
I said Jeffrey Epstein 13 years ago ran an island in the Caribbean with kidnapped children. I said the NXIVM cult was branding people 5 years before it broke. No, I had the sources and I had the guts. I lost viewers saying Sandy Hook might have been staged. I lost some of my reporters. That is not true, what you're saying. I don't sit there and think of a story I'm going to say. I've got too many stories here. And then say, oh, I'm going to lie about this thing. I said Jussie Smollett, despite the fact I was already sued by Sandy Hook, I said the day after it, before anybody else, I said, I think it's staged. I think at 2:30 in the morning, 22 below zero
I
in
agree.
Chicago.
I thought it
that a
stunk
black
too.
guy's walking around.
But here's my
and
point,
two white
Alex.
guys
Again,
put bleach
here's
on
my
him and all
point to
this.
you. Here's my question for you.
Believe it.
You are a smart enough person. From interviews I've seen of you with Joe Rogan for 3 hours, you're more than smart enough to do a show where you genuinely examine stories like Jussie Smollett and you ask the right questions, as a journalist would do. But I don't think you are a journalist. And you're not saying you're not a trained journalist, but you don't come at it like a journalist. You come at it as a commercial operator who's made a fortune from fueling conspiracy theories which are ludicrous.
Okay, this is my thing. Other than the Sandy Hook conspiracy theory, right? Why do you think that conspiracy theories as a whole are ludicrous? What in your mind makes you believe that? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm curious. Because this is the thing. I'm gonna be honest, right? Woke family. Y'all gotta understand that they don't want you to question the powers that be. They want you to be stuck in the matrix. They don't want you to be able to question the things that are happening, and they want you to be a bot. So when you have people like Alex Jones that come out and question these things, they try to cancel him. Andrew Tate, cancel him. Sneeko, cancel him. You know what I'm saying?
And to a point,
Let me respond to that. You've said that lie. You've said that lie 5 times. Piers, you had me here. Let me respond to each lie you spew.
Let me finish.
Your goal is to spew lies.
Let me finish.
I'm going to tell you again. I'm not against capitalism, and if people earn money normally and naturally, that's great. If I sell $70 million of food and supplements and books and films, and we make $20 million off that, and I pay my crew and my bandwidth to pay myself a couple $1 million a year, that is accurate. But the idea that I have billions of dollars and the idea that I did these
I don't think you've made billions of dollars.
things,
I think you've made several $100 million, and some of the products included very false claims about diet supplements and toothpaste, which could be used to fight coronavirus. And you were sent to cease and desist.
No, all I said is that silver on contact kills all viruses just like sunlight. And I said vitamin D3 is an antiviral and vitamin C is, and it's a fact. And I also said, Piers, that the studies they'd already done with mRNA vaccines showed they didn't protect you and they erase your immune system, and you've had to apologize.
Well, actually,
no,
just to clarify, they do protect you from coronavirus. The difference was that a year into the pandemic, it emerged.
This is a fat L, bro. You can't even let the man speak. Like, what was the point, bro? I feel like, and this is my thing, bro. It makes me question because it's like, I know that there's gonna get to a point, woke family, where you guys are gonna be seeing me go on interviews like this, and if I'm attacked like this, I know that I'm gonna try as much as possible to hold my composure. But it's like in certain situations, I'm just gonna advise you guys, woke family, if you're ever in a situation like this where people will not allow you to talk, you should just leave, because it's an attack. You want there to be open discourse without one person feeling like they're over talking the other, and it's just disrespect. You know, it's bad. This is bad content, bro.
That the initial feeling that if you had the vaccine, you couldn't transmit it, turned out to be wrong. But they do protect you.
Any real vaccine
they do protect you,
and in fact, hey, Piers,
millions of people,
you and others are going to stand in Nuremberg
today because
You're
they took the vaccine.
Stand in Nuremberg too. You're going to stand in Nuremberg too. Did you get money from Big Pharma?
No, I didn't get any money.
All these other media people.
We're going to take. Listen. The vaccines work.
Did you get money?
The vaccines
Did you get money
work,
like CNN
and they saved
for pushing Prozac?
millions of lives. However, let's take a short break.
No,
I want to come back with our final segment.
And
I want to ask you one last question in the final segment.
Infowars.com.
Welcome back to my final segment with Alex Jones. Alex, on January the 6th, the infamous January the 6th, you stood there riling the crowds up by saying, we declare 1776 against the New World Order. We need to understand we're under attack. We need to understand this is 21st century warfare and get on a war footing. And within several hours, that's exactly what thousands of people did. They went down from hearing you say that, and Donald Trump saying what he said, and they launched an unprecedented attack on the Capitol, the very center of democracy in America. Do you regret now what you said at that speech?
No, I don't. I'd had rallies with over 1 million people, 500,000 people. Before that, it's an information war, Infowars.com. We're in an information war. We were there to have a 10-day investigation of the Constitution. The Democrats have done it before, just a few years before, to look at what was happening. We were there peaceful. And then, Piers, I tried to stop people and did keep thousands from going into the Capitol, and I've been cleared in the January 6th. Look at the Reuters article by the FBI.
Just to be clear, do you denounce those who used violence that day?
Yes, I denounced Ray Epps telling the Congressional Committee that he orchestrated the attack, and I tried to stop the provocateurs in that operation from breaking in. We had 1 million people there. They tricked 1,000 or so to go in. A few hundred provocateurs broke through the police, similar to what we're seeing in Brazil. And so I'm on record there that day telling people don't go in the building and trying to stop it. When I say 1776, I'm saying try to take our guns, 1776. Try to take our free speech, 1776. It means political rebellion. It means an awakening. It means saying no.
Has one of the lessons that you've learned from this lawsuit with the Sandy Hook families, has one of the lessons been that actually truth matters? Have you learned that? Do you believe now that you need to focus on saying things which are true because consequences can be very serious?
You keep trying to act like it was a big part of what I've covered or that I made mistakes on purpose. The whole currency I operate in is the truth. And we're accurate 95% of the time. I've made big mistakes. And when I make mistakes, we absolutely admit to it. I think you've done that yourself sometime. So here's the deal. Maybe in 10 years, you're still alive, I'm alive, I'm back on. You'll say, will you apologize now? I apologize if I cause any pain. I've already done it. It only makes them more rabid and attack more and misrepresent. I went on my show during the trial and said, I love you. I think you're real. I'm so sorry for your child. They went on the stand and said, I attacked them that day. That's all on record. And so
the problem is the problem is
the political movement.
Alex,
they've raised hundreds of millions of dollars off their dead kids.
The problem is you did make millions of dollars from their dead kids. It's one of the reasons Elon Musk.
I did not.
It's one of the reasons. It's the reason.
No marketing.
It's the reason.
You know what I make millions of dollars off of?
It's
my
the
number
reason,
one book.
It's the
on
reason.
The world selling stage.
Right. The reason Elon Musk has refused to let you back on Twitter is he won't let people on who trade off dead children. That's exactly what you did.
So Madeleine Albright kills 500,000, says she did it on purpose.
About
She's
you,
good.
not Madeleine
Alex
Albright.
Jones questions a mass shooting. I get it. I'm the worst guy in the world.
I didn't say
the whole
that.
Dying corporate media is good.
I didn't say that.
Alex Jones is bad, but here's the thing. Infowars.com lives. People can come to my show every day, 11 a.m. Central, and they can hear what I'm actually saying, Piers, versus what you're trying to put in my mouth.
Actually, all I'm putting into your mouth are things that have come out of your mouth.
No, you don't have footage of me saying go harass them at their houses. You
I
don't
do,
have
and I
footage of me
covered the
saying piss
Sandy
on their
Hook.
graves.
I covered the Sandy Hook
You
tragedy.
don't have any of that. You
and
have
all I
what
know
lawyers
is, Alex,
gave you.
all I know is for all your posturing,
Find the truth, Infowars.com.
when those poor families
Don't let Piers
were
mind
going
control
through the
you.
most excruciating pain of their
Infowars.com.
lives, you took a massive amount of fuel and you
we were
poured it on
coming
the
on
bonfire
about other
of their
events.
pain.
What about the
And
Davos
that is
group?
the bottom
What
line
about
with
the
you,
New
Alex.
World Order?
You deliberately
What about
spun a pack of
what about the
lies
global government?
designed to make the
What
families
about
of Sandy
the
Hook
human
suffer
trafficking?
worse pain.
What about the fentanyl?
And that, I'm
No,
afraid,
it's
for all
only
your
Alex
shouting
Jones, only the
and all your
independent media. I'm the bad
blather
guy.
is utterly contemptible. And we both,
Hey, you're
I
never
think,
going
know
to get
that.
our First Amendment. And I'm glad you had to move back to England to live under your Islamic takeover and when they're arresting
Okay.
people for being
Alex,
against transgenderism.
You're once
don't
again
want freedom, Piers.
losing the plot, so now I have to say goodbye. But
You
it's been
lied.
good to catch up.
You said
Thanks,
we come
Alex
on.
Jones. Appreciate it.
Then don't be a liar.
Alex Jones, nothing's really changed other than in the last 10 years or so.
You kicked him off, but you wouldn't even allow him to talk. You wouldn't. This is an L interview, Pierce. You wouldn't even allow him to talk.
So he carried on exploiting, particularly the families of Sandy Hook, for massive personal financial gain. He systematically tells conspiracy theories, which I know he knows are not true. And he does it because it makes him tons of money, and he's got away with it until now. But now they called his bluff. They sued him.
All right, man. We're done, Pierce. This is an L video, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is bad. You barely let the man talk, bro. You talked majority of the interview. For probably out of the 37 minutes we just watched right now, you probably talked like 30, 35 minutes, bro. It's bad. It's actually bad. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it, man. So the next video we're gonna watch, Woke Family, is in regards to Abba Preach talking all the junk that they're talking about Andrew Tate. Let's get into it.
So Andrew Tate says, "You're not stupid," and he's talking to one of the victims. "You're not stupid, and you can probably guess how I make so much money. I have to hide what I'm really doing." And the victim says, "The webcam," and he says,
Hold on, pause. Let's go back 11 seconds. I'm gonna fix my camera real quick. Woke Family, give me a second. And we'll get into this video. We'll break it down. Okay. You know what? Yeah, no, we'll put it up here real quick. Okay. So this is apparently Andrew Tate, right? "You're not stupid, and you can probably guess how much money." My bad. You're not stupid, and you can probably guess how I make so much money. I have to hide what I'm really doing. Victim webcam. I've been doing this for a long time with a team of girls working on video chat. The company was fake. But this is how I laundered my dirty money. Some of the girls who work for me, bleep, I use them to do other things. To move money or illegal other stuff. I can't fully read that. Hold on, let me go on the video and see if I can get it. Move money or illegal documents, etc. I would never do that with you. Interesting. We're gonna figure out what's going on. Word.
So Andrew Tate says, you're not stupid, and he's talking to one of the victims. You're not stupid, and you can probably guess how I make so much money. I have to hide what I'm really doing. And the victim says, webcam? And he says, I've been doing this for a long time with a team of girls working on video chat. The company was fake, but this is how I laundered my dirty money. Some of the girls who worked for me, I use them to do other things, to move money or illegal things, documents.
This is another thing. I'm not gonna lie, I don't trust Alvin Preach personally. I think they have an agenda. But with that being said, my question is, where did you get these Andrew Tate text messages from?
And I will never do that with you. If you aren't aware, Tate's in prison in Romania. Some people say he's innocent, other people say he's guilty. And you guys remember us? We said wait till the evidence comes out and we'll find out. Well, a lot of evidence has been coming out. That prosecutor's office in Romania has been leaking a lot. And
how can you be a prosecutor's office and leaking that much?
Let's always do it. They do it on purpose.
Yeah?
Yeah, they leak what they want to the press. You have to understand.
It's a whole game.
Winning a case for them is not just winning a case. There's a lot of ego involved. These people want to win these big cases.
But
when the FBI says it's got a, 96, 98 conviction rate, the reason why is because they like that shit on their resume. They take on cases they know they're going to win, and they only put forth the case when they know they're going to win.
Yeah.
And so this kind of thing right here, have you seen what they leaked?
No,
I don't think they're winning this case. I believe God lives, and if Tate is innocent, he's going to be fine.
I haven't seen what they leaked.
Listen, they didn't prosecute Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate prosecuted Andrew Tate. My homie was self-snitching.
Oh, that bad.
Watch the tape.
No, basically...
Watch the tape.
Trafficking, we have three things: force, fraud, or coercion. Force, obviously, that's like being in chains and, not being allowed to leave. Fraud, being kept there under false pretenses. If there's an element of fraud in the way that you are enticing somebody or keeping somebody in a particular position to work for you, and if it's in the sex business, that's sex trafficking or coercion. Let's kind of look at one of his very first videos that he did. These are his words, not my words.
When you say webcam company, people assume, oh, it's just a sex fest. But in reality, it's a shitload of people management. The HR category of the webcam business is the largest and most important thing. You're effectively taking girls, teaching them how to make unlimited money from home, and then making sure they give it all to you. Your goal is to inspire a girl to make money. So the way you're going to do that is you have to have some element of influence, and you're going to have that element of influence through her respecting you, looking up to you, and her believing she needs you. And this is extremely important, because at the beginning she will need you, but then she won't need you. But you have to keep that fallacy, keep that dream alive.
Fallacy, that's his word. And what is fallacy? Fraud.
That's a pimp. That's exactly what a pimp does.
I knew some street pimps. I've known them for a long time. Straight street pimping is a completely... In fact, no, it's not a completely different game. The psychological aspect is the same. She can't do this without you, to ensure that she doesn't do it without you. At the beginning, she can, but there'll become a point she can't. But you being here, it synergizes this teamwork energy. We're going to do this together. Yeah, you go on the camera. Don't worry, I'll talk to the guys. I'm going to talk to them. We're a team. Happy, positive teamwork. There's no negative energy in this business.
You imagine you talking to this hot blonde girl and you webcam with her and you sending her messages and you find out it's actually just a bald-headed top G on the other side? You thought you was talking to a bitch named Mercedes. Turned out it's a nigga obsessed with Bugattis.
I'm just saying.
That's why. I'm sorry.
Well, the reason why I'm having this face is because the amount, I didn't realize how much foot and mouth could contain.
Oh, he's fucking up. Oh, they got all the receipts on this guy. And it gets worse.
You have to be positive. So by you typing for the girl, you maximize your money, and also she believes she needs you, which is extremely important. Another reason we use Chaturbate is because they will pay you in Bitcoin. And this is amazing because you've all seen the thought audit shit that's going on. You've all seen the fucking legalities of banking. Trying to get money out of these sites into your bank without paying a shitload of tax is actually very difficult.
See, it's that whole avoiding taxes. And it's not legal to do that.
So in the last 6 months, Chaturbate have released a Bitcoin option. So they'll pay you in Bitcoin. Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax to anybody. Tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy, and girls are stupid, and girls don't understand how taxes work. So the girl's working with you, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we've made this much money, but I'm going to pay the tax to make sure we don't get in trouble. She'll sit there and go, okay. Now that allows you to do two things. One is another control element. I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. It allows you to pay her a smaller percentage. So I used to pay my girls 30%. So for every $10,000 they made, I give them 3, and I keep 7. They thought they were on 50%. And I said that the disparity is because of taxes. So you're on 50%, we get to pay the tax first, and then it's 50-50. So really you're paying 30, you tell them you're paying 50, the difference is in the tax. That's where the disparity lies, taxes. If they don't believe you, they want to get fresh or whatever, print out some tax forms. I see this all the time. I used to print out some random tax forms and say, yeah, sign here and sign this. What is it? It's for the tax. You want to pay the tax or not? Ooh, okay, and they just sign away. They don't know what the fucking signing. Let's throw them away afterwards. But they think something's happening. Something real's happening. Nothing's happening. It's like me get rich, bitch.
So we started. All right, he's already admitted to tax evasion and fraud.
I mean, it's not a mission.
This is a course he's running. He's teaching people.
That's what he's teaching.
So let's just say, for example, even with the webcam business, right? It's a situation that he was evading taxes. Was he living in a country where you didn't have to pay taxes? You don't know the tax laws of the country he was living in, right? I don't know if it was the UK. I don't know if it was in any Eastern country. You don't know, number one. Number two, that's not even the original crime he's being indicted of, right? The crime that he's quote unquote being indicted of, or at least being accused of, is trafficking. And it's like, how is he trafficking the women, right? You have women that came out and said that they lived with him for years. They weren't trafficked. So what's the point? Right? What's the point?
He doesn't mean he's doing that now. I'm just playing devil's. It's a very hard job. I'm not. So hey.
He said that's what he was doing with these girls. That's what he said he was doing.
Yeah.
The women saying he did this to us.
Oh.
What, you think they're going to look at the bank records and see that the money, he was paying them 50-50? What you think? Let's be honest. If someone admits to what they're doing, just believe them.
But to his defense, I got nothing.
Guys, he's self-snitching.
So what you're telling me is that they got him on frauding the girls and defrauding the government. Is that what you're saying?
I just want you guys to understand, just here, we're not even going to the human trafficking, just right there. This man was stealing from the people that were working for him.
Right there.
He didn't even care. He said, I'm getting rich, bitch. Fuck you. He didn't care. He was stealing from it. If that's your job, how would you feel about that? Would you not want this person?
Wait. Okay, no, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Charged for that crime? Listen, but
that's not what he's being charged for. It's trafficking. So how is he trafficking the women? Let's stick to the basis. It's one thing to say that, okay, he was taking an unfair amount. Fine, cool, whatever. But the point is that he's being charged, quote unquote, not charged, but accused of trafficking, right? Accused of trafficking. How does stealing money from people equate to trafficking? Talk to me.
My employer even stole $1 an hour from me, I'd be pissed. Thousands every single month?
Something real's happening. Nothing's happening. It's like me get rich, bitch. You have to girls. You cannot do a business relationship with a female. I'll tell you why. Women have sex with somebody. If they're not fucking you, they're fucking somebody else. And that other person she's fucking is going to have the control over her mind as opposed to you. And if he controls her mind and you don't control her mind, once she starts to pick it up a bit after a few weeks, a few months, whatever, and realizes how to make money on her own, or she's going to run off and pay her boyfriend, or them two are going to go traveling in Southeast Asia and she's going to work as she goes, or she's going to go to her boyfriend and say, look, fuck it, you type for me. Oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling is a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat to throw in. You're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Or if you're doing what? So I'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen. Come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. Your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear from a girl. And this is why your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl.
Remember Ghislaine Maxwell? That was the girl that recruited for Jeffrey Epstein. Almost identical to what he's talking about here.
You guys remember? So this is why this is important, this portion right here. It doesn't prove anything, but it is one of the little pieces of evidence that they add in for the whole trafficking charge. Basically, he has a woman, okay, who used to be a former police officer in Romania. She's the one who does the recruiting and the managing of the women. Why? Because women are much more likely to be roped into these kinds of things if they're hearing it from another woman. So when he sets up his organization, right, because they're accusing him of running a criminal organization, he has the woman who he calls his bottom bit, right, to recruit the other women. Okay, now, there's some transcripts because they did some wiretaps. They seize their phones, they seize all their technology. So there's some conversations that they're using now. I want you to also know the context of the country's in. Andrew Tate is a foreigner living in Romania as a rich person.
Trying to fucking steal from the government?
And he's also spoken about the reason why he left the UK to go to Romania is because, you know what I mean, laws are a little bit lax. They're not like, it's not as repressive. So this is how he talks about Romania and going to jail there, okay? This is pulled from his PC, and then there was a leak to the press, okay? So this is something that they got.
Romanian courts, oh no, not a court in Romania. They're corruption-free, as we all know. They put me in jail. I'm going to walk in there with a pile of money like this. Boom, boom, boom. This some hoes. This sells mine. I'm ready. Put me in jail. I don't give a fuck. You think they're court case? Shove it up your mouth.
Get me out of jail. The law says you're guilty. I said get me out of jail. Don't go see a lawyer to talk about the law. I have committed multiple felonies. How much does it cost to make this all go away?
Also, when you're a real G, is that you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You gotta go to Poland, you gotta go to Warsaw, fucking Dubai, Miami. Anyone who watches State Confidential knows I'm all over the place. So I end up with all these chicks just stuck in their house, sitting there, bored, completely in love with me. And of course, they don't go out. They're not allowed out. You stay in the house. You don't go nowhere. You're not, no restaurants, no clubs, nothing.
I think the reason why Tate probably said what he said is just because, at least in regards to telling the woman to stay at the house, is because if a man generally wants to harm you or do any type of violence to you, the easiest way he can get in contact with you is through your woman or through your women. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes a situation where if they're able to do that damage to you, if the woman is seen and they know that you're associated with him, they can easily harm that woman or get to that woman through, or harm you through that woman. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's crazy, but it is what it is.
But here's even the kicker. Looking at private videos that are part of the police file, from the following passages from the context of this content, there is no doubt a deep lack of respect for the legal norms and a total indifference to the social protected values that the defendant gives proof of. Also, the attitude of disregard towards women in general, which he perceives only as a mean of getting his content released. In other words, making money. The judge cannot agree with the support of the defense in the sense that the video contents presents only one character and cannot be taken into account since the defendant exhibits the same attitude in the relations with the injured persons and is evident from the content of the conversations that are in these criminal prosecution files.
Basically, the judge's like, nah, the way you act in real life is how you're talking about these videos. So I'm not going to not use them as evidence. I cannot use them as evidence because they match. Let's get to the truth.
This is the thing, though. Are we going to make it seem like there's not people online that make it seem like they're living one type of lifestyle, but they're not, or living some type of way, but they're not, or they speak like there's this type of person, but they're not? It happens all the time. Come on, bro. So are we going to take it seriously now? Are we going to take it seriously now?
Transcripts. Because people are saying...
Wait. You got more?
Oh, man. When I say, listen, and just a pro tip, if you're a criminal watching, do not use WhatsApp, okay? Do not use WhatsApp to do any of your criminal activity. They keep a record. There are records, there are logs, and it's easily traceable. Okay?
Bro, I'm going to tell you this. Don't use your phone. Do not use your phone. I'm talking about, I've had friends that were in instances where they crossed the borders and they have certain software that could tap in your phone and get the deleted items. You can always go get the deleted items. So that's the reason why they have burner phones. Don't use your phone. Actually, you have to use a phone, crack it, and keep on going. You know those flip phones? That's pretty much what you would have to use.
All right.
But, yeah, I digress.
So these are leaked transcripts from the stenographer, either in the court case or leaked from the prosecutor's office. The reason why they're doing this is they like the media attention being involved in this. The prosecutor may probably have some ego involved, and he wants to let everybody know, I'm going to be the person who takes down Andrew Tate. And listen, it only matters if he's got evidence to back it up, and he's done some digging. And it seems that during their 8 months of searching and their raids on the compound, they found quite a lot.
Oh my God.
Okay, so this is how Andrew Tate apparently manipulates one of the victims into flying to Romania by promising marriage. Then discusses...
Transcript 1, Andrew Tate manipulates one of the victims into flying to Romania by promising marriage, then discusses said victim as a commodity to be used for making money. Where are these transcripts from?
Victim as a commodity to be used for making money. Andrew Tate says, you have to understand once your mind... and you might be mine forever. A woman never leaves her man, and I'll be the last man in your life. What do we do if we fall in love and I kidnap you to bring you to Bucharest? And then the girl replies, I don't think it's kidnapping if I want to come. First, I have to see in your eyes that you will never be able to live without me, and then I can trust you to show you everything. Bring a ring when you come. This is what the girl said. He says, can you be loving enough to be a wife, to always be on my side wherever I go, to talk to zero men besides me? You have to move to Romania with me to keep an eye on you. You're mine. Don't ever forget that. And she says, but can I trust you? He says, yes, you can. We'll meet in Romania, and I want to know you're committed and serious about marriage. Yes, I'm serious.
Well, hold on. He's about to skip one. You will move to Romania with me. I plan when I get there first, I might have to go to Prague for a few days. And then he said, and we'll meet in Romania. And I want you, and I want to know that you are committed, serious about marriage. Yes, I'm serious.
And when she gets there, he's like, well, we're not getting married. I want to turn you into a cam girl. Okay. So they're basically establishing that the way that he's getting these people involved in the whole business is through fraud. And if you remember what the guy said earlier in regards to some of the criteria that need to be met, okay, one of them is fraud. And that's what they're trying to establish with these conversations when they're released. So even though this conversation doesn't seem bad to you, you have to understand by the letter of the law and how they define human trafficking. This is one of those elements that they might incorporate in order to make that charge stick.
Where did you get these transcripts from? That's the real question. Where did you get them from?
Basically, he wasn't telling these people, hey, I'm running a cannabis business, come down. He's like, I want to marry you. You're going to fall in love with me. You're going to fall in love with me. He gets them all the way down to Romania inside of his compound. Then he springs it on him with who? His bottom. So Andrew Tate says, you're not stupid. And he's talking to one of the victims. You're not stupid. And you can probably guess how I make so much money. I have to hide what I'm really doing. And the victim says, the webcam? And he says, I've been doing this for a long time with a team of girls working on video chat. The company was fake, but this is how I laundered my dirty money. Some of the girls who worked for me, I use them to do other things, to move money or illegal things, documents, and I will never do that with you. Basically telling the girl, you're different from the others. I make them do the really illegal stuff. Again, they have it right here in the wiretaps.
Where did they get this information from, though?
Okay? Him admitting to this stuff. This is going to be used in court, and you're going to have a hard time explaining this one away. What is this money laundering that you were doing?
You can't go to the court and be like, hey, what happened was... Scratch your head and figure shit out.
Okay, so now here comes the next part. This is I think the biggest one. Tate's angels, meaning the bottom, the two women... I mean, that's what they call them, bro. What would you want me to say? This is what it reads.
Charlie's? They don't want to say hoes?
Hey, man, listen. These are the women who work for him, the Ghislaine Maxwells. If you don't make money, we're going to have a problem. Punch yourself in the mouth until I arrive, because then I'll give you another 10, you incurable slacker. And the other girl says, I'll break you when I get there. And the victim says, what did I do? And the bottom is, you have 1 hour and 10 minutes to disappear. And the victim says, but what did I do? You're down 20%, 4 days since you posted. And she says, if Andrew looks to see you, if you posted TikToks, you won't even have time to pack. You're flying off the balcony straight away. So what does this conversation really mean? This is where this is important. It might not mean much to y'all because you're like, well, when they're taking this in conjunction with everything else, the fraud element involved, the coercion element, the aspect of like lying about what they're really going to be doing there, the fact that this girl who works for Tate is saying she's going to be punching the girl 10 times when she gets there, that there's these threats of violence, the one saying like, Andrew Tate gets home, you're going to be flying off the balcony. Is that literally? Probably not, but there is some element there of threats of potential violence if you don't do what's needed. When you take that to court, and these are conversations that are happening in private, you understand? They're going to take this into strong consideration when they're making their case. They're going to be like, how do you explain this stuff? Oh, we're just joking. We're not going to actually make her. Well, then why is the victim terrified? Oh, she's just lying and making. You think that's going to really be?
Okay, so let's just say, for example, these messages are real. Where are the supposed victims? Why have they not been put out in public so people can see? If this is all true, you know?
A real defense in court.
You know, the thing is, there's some people that are not going to believe that.
Of course.
There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be like, yeah, it ain't that bad, it ain't that bad. And you know why? Because they actually talk like that. They talk like that with their girls. The girls, I'm saying guys, but I'm talking girls do the same shit. Oh my God, I swear, I'm going to punch you in your mouth. And people talk like that on a regular basis. I was astonished at the fact, the language that some people use with their friends or with their loved ones. Yeah, but it's just, I'm just talking. It's just this, it's just that. Whenever you talk to them or whenever you check them, so, yo, listen, you cannot talk to me any kind of way. You can't talk to me about you're going to punch me in my face. You can't tell me that you're going to kick me in my throat. You can't do shit like that. But you know, man, it's just talk. It ain't real.
These people are going to be super motivated to do this. Tate moved from the UK to Romania because the justice in the UK said it was too prejudicial and they were going to come after him strong. Romania is more lax. You went to Romania, acted a fool, wanted to say anything and do anything and engage in illegal activity. Listen, you fucked around and you found out. You got to hold that L. Nobody told you to self-snitch.
That's not fucked around. That's not
like people just getting on camera and just calmly admitting to criminal activity is so crazy to me. People say, "Why?"
I'm not gonna lie. Even if you want to say that, fine. Let's just say, for example, what he did or what he's being accused of is true. I'm just saying, right? Cardi B has done the same thing, bro. Why is she still free? Why is she not being indicted like Tate is? Do you see the hypocrisy? If a man does it, oh, he's evil. But then if a woman, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, woke family? But if a man does it, he's not justified. But if a woman does it, she's justified because she's a woman. We got to do better, bro.
Why would anybody do that? Why would people do that and be a public personality? Because some people got ego. Because some people don't know how to stay away from the fucking cameras because they head too big. Look at Sam Bankman-Fried, right? Dude ran FTX. Turned out to be a big old fraudster. After the fraud was discovered, you know what this idiot was doing? He was getting on live television, doing interviews, incriminating himself further. And those interviews that he did after being found out are going to be used against him in court. Why? Because some people can't stop themselves from doing stupid fucking things. And I'm sure if he had a lawyer at the time and like telling him what to do, they would say, don't do any interviews. But he couldn't help himself. Why? Because his ego.
I'm just really here to see where it goes. I'm going to see where it goes. Because like Abba said, if that's what they leaking to the press, they got some bigger thing. Bangers, bars, jail bars. But they got something bigger. And what they're going to do to court is going to be something else. It's going to be something crazier. If that's what they choose to leak to court, anyways, all that to say, I'll wait. I'll stand by here. It's just there's a lot of Kanye complex that I call whenever you go on a podcast and you say, I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want, and they can't unwork with me. And then he said some outlandish shit and it was like, well, let's drop your ass. And everybody started dropping. And nobody wants to work. That's the same kind of complex. Hey, I can walk in this country and do whatever the hell I want. I can pay this, I can pay that, I can do this, top G in the building, yay. And then this will happen.
And now he's in a Romanian jail cell with 30 other dudes in a toilet in the middle where everyone got to watch each other's shit. Hey, listen.
But it don't look good.
Hey, listen. Them transcripts, once I seen that video of him snitching, I said, it don't matter what I think.
You know what it looked like?
I know he didn't pay his taxes. One, because he said he didn't pay his taxes.
And he didn't pay people.
And he didn't pay people because he admits to stealing their money.
That's not even if they can prove that he was abusing motherfuckers.
Forget that.
If they can, just, yeah, I understand that. Just on the basis of those two things.
I'm not gonna lie. I understand that, and it is what it is. But it's like Abban Preach. You guys are trying to make it seem as if you guys are on a moral. Don't do that. Just because Tate's faults have been exposed to the light, if it's true, doesn't mean that you guys won't get to a point where you guys will have the same thing happen to you, because nobody knows tomorrow. So be humble. Don't make it seem as if you're better than another person. We're all sinners under the eyes of God.
Whoa. But if it's just like a tuna casserole. It don't look good.
Nope. All right, next video, guys. Let's move on to it. We're gonna watch a little bit of Ben Shapiro. I think this is probably one of the first times we watch him on this channel, at least one of his videos. And we're gonna basically get his thoughts on the Tate situation as well too, and then we'll move on to probably one more video and we'll end the stream tonight. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. W Daily Streamer. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be coming back every night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Probably a little bit earlier, but we'll be doing it like that from this point. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Give me a second. Give me a secondos. How's this man post today? Okay.
So I have a lot of younger listeners who are big fans of Andrew Tate, who really enjoy Andrew Tate. Now, the big news over the course of the last couple of weeks is that Andrew Tate, for those who don't know, Andrew Tate is a very online guy who was a lightweight kickboxing champion, I believe, and he's become big in the so-called manosphere. He was banned from YouTube, I believe. He was banned from Twitter. And he was banned from these things because he was a self-described misogynist, right? Somebody who believes that men are superior to women in pretty much every possible way. Well, over the last couple of weeks, he got in an online fight with Greta Thunberg in which he was tweeting at her about how he had Bugattis and lots of gas guzzlers and he was heating up the climate. And then she tweeted back at him that he had a small dick. It was all very silly. And then one day later, he ended up being arrested by Romanian authorities. And the allegations against Andrew Tate is that he was engaging in sex trafficking. According to the New York Post, police in tactical gear descended on a villa where Andrew Tate...
What is he wearing on his head? Is Ben Shapiro Jewish? Is he Jew? I think he's a Jew. Hey, Siri. Is Ben Shapiro Jewish? Yeah,
Ben Shapiro's religion is Orthodox Judaism.
Yeah. I see him wearing, I think it's called a yarmulke. I think that's what it's called.
Tate and brother Tristan were staying Thursday to detain the British brothers on kidnapping and rape charges, judicial sources told Romanian outlet Libertatea. Video shows the officers with battering rams and guns sweeping through the dark villa before escorting Tate into a car. The brothers in April had allegedly detained two young women, one with American citizenship and one Romanian, inside the villa against their will, where they were subjected to physical violence and mental coercion, according to the authorities. Police said the Tates allegedly formed an organized crime group and sexually exploited women by forcing them to perform pornographic demonstrations for the purpose of producing and disseminating through social media platforms. The brothers had been questioned for 5 hours by the police back in April, but were released at the time. And then they are currently still being held in Romania right now. Now, Tate had predicted for a long time this would happen to him. He had predicted that people were going to come after him, that they were going to arrest him. Does that mean that he's not guilty of something? I have no idea. I have no idea whether he's guilty of these crimes. It could be trumped up. It could be the Romanian authorities who are embarrassed by Tate. It could be anything.
Shapiro, get to your point, man. What are your thoughts on Andrew Tate, bro?
I place a lot of stake in the law-abiding nature of the Romanian authorities. I literally know nothing about how the law... I mean, Andrew Tate literally said he moved to Romania in order to avoid law enforcement. So I don't know whether that's true or whether that's not. I assume all of that will come out in the wash. The thing I want to focus on is the popularity of Andrew Tate for a moment. And it's fascinating because, again, I have a lot of young listeners who are interested in the stuff that Andrew Tate says. The reason they're interested in the stuff that Andrew Tate says is because he's transgressive. He's transgressive in that he says things that no one else will say. Some of the stuff that he says is frankly terrible, and some of the stuff that he says is not terrible. Some of the stuff that he says is actually a version of truth. I mean, when he says that promiscuity is generally a bad thing, he says it only among women. Or he says when he says promiscuity for women is a bad thing. That used to be a relatively uncontroversial thought, but it's been considered bad to say that now. It's wrong.
Yeah, because we live in a woke society. Not our woke family. I'm talking about like lib woke. You know know what I'm saying? When you're conservative woke, or at least you're, I'm not far right. You know what I'm saying? I do, like I said, if there were a political party that my ideas were to align with more, it would be the Republican Party for sure. And I know that there's going to probably be some black people that are going to shame me and say, "You're a black man. Why are you a Republican?" It's like, bro, it doesn't matter. The point is that their ideals, I definitely align with them a lot more. But I'm not a Republican, though. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's continue.
It's banned. Now, we live in a moment because we are so censorious online and sort of in the political world. We're so censorious. The Overton window has shrunk so much that there are two concepts that have been crimped. One is truth, as in like Pope Benedict XVI truth. Right? Things, eternal things of value that you're not supposed to say anymore. A man is not a woman. Men should marry women. They should have kids. Right? These are things that are now considered very controversial in the elite circles of the West. You're not supposed to say any of those things. So truth, like capital T, long-standing truths, these things have been denied.
Yep.
And then there's also been stuff that's been denied that's just kind of garbage, like stuff that's not nasty to say or yucky.
Yeah.
And so what's been crimped is courage, right? People are afraid to say the truth, and they're also afraid to say their opinion because they lack courage, because the social sanctions are so strong.
Yep.
And so because the social sanctions are so strong, and because they go beyond just crimping the truth, they go to crimping pretty much everybody's feeling that they can even say anything, their opinion, jokes. Because of all of that, courage is now held in higher value than truth itself.
Yep.
Being willing to transgress lines is considered a highest value, because in a time where courage is under attack, courage is a very, very high value. Courage is always the first value. I mean, C.S. Lewis says, courage is the first value, Christian. Yeah. Courage is the first value in order to speak the truth. But courage is instrumental. Courage is useful so that you can speak the truth. What's happened in our society, because we have decided to shut down so many modes of speech, because we've decided to ban people from social media and unperson them and destroy their lives and their livelihoods, because we've done all of that, people who speak loudly are considered the best and the bravest. And it's particularly appealing to young people. And so when you draw a lot of fire, the way that Andrew Tate does, a lot of people see that as more courageous than if you say something that is, say, a little bit better calibrated and more in consonance with eternal truth. Whoever draws most fire, in other words, is the person who's considered the most courageous. Right. And this sort of pithy saying that is mostly true, but kind of not, right? That you must be over the target if you're drawing flack. A large percentage of the time, that's true. But sometimes the person who's drawing the most flack is what they're saying is actually kind of bad, right? So the problem for Andrew Tate, and the reason why he's become so popular, is because he's very transgressive. He says the thing that no one else will say. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's really not good. We'll get to more on all of this in just one moment. First, the situation in Ukraine continues to be extremely bad. That war apparently is just going to go on for the foreseeable future. Well, whatever you think.
Bro, what is it? Bro, we're not talking about the Ukraine war, bro.
Your donation will the critique of how society has undermined a lot of this stuff. And then his prescription is, I'm going to put a picture of myself online with like 30 cars, and it makes me look cool, makes me look masculine. Hey, I also like cool cars. Cool cars are amazing. But because
if somebody ever tells you I like something before they did, it's just like somebody saying respectfully. If somebody says something like that, they're generally going to shame you at the end of it. Watch.
We have lost eternal truth because we have decided as a society the eternal truth has to go. The backlash is not coming in the form of a restoration of eternal truth. Very often the backlash is coming in the form of punch the people in the face who destroyed the eternal truth. That's the society in which we're living. And I'm afraid that could get worse unless what we actually have is a return to some eternal truth. So here's a couple of clips of Andrew Tate, and it kind of shows you what I'm talking about, that some of what he's saying is kind of half correct, but he's saying it in such a way that is meant to draw fire. So here is Andrew Tate talking about women belonging to men.
I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman's given over
that's inherently where you get called sexist.
No, it's not. Well, you can call me sexist if you want, but if you look at marriage, it's the bride's father who gives her away. It's not the groom's father.
In my culture, that's how it is. The bride's father is the one that gives the woman away. That's
father. In old tradition, the woman is always given over to the man. Read the Bible, read the Quran, you can go to
You're walking down the aisle, no chance. There's like African cultures where they don't do that.
There probably are, but more likely than not, most African cultures do.
I'm sure there are some obscure tribes somewhere. I mean, I can't say I'm not a professional.
But you get it. You seem like a very smart guy.
Understand why
you seem like a smart guy.
That.
You're saying a woman is the property of a man if they're dating.
I'm not saying they're a property. I'm saying they're given to the man and they belong to the man. It doesn't mean they're a pure property without emotion.
Okay, so notice the contrast here. So Portnoy is so afraid of saying that a woman and a man belong together, and that a woman, when she gets married, now belongs to the man sexually in the same way that the man ought to belong to the woman sexually. This is literally Genesis 2:24. Right? For this reason, a man will leave his father and his mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. And Genesis 2:24. So that would be the eternal truth. That is the truth according to every mainstream religion. That would be the thing that you would say. And the reason for that, from an evolutionary biology perspective, is because when a woman joins with a man and they create a baby, the woman is sure of her parentage, but the man is not sure of his parentage. And so we as a society tend to prefer monogamy, right? This is the evolutionary biological reason why humanity embraced monogamy, is because it is the best distribution of sexual resources. It's from an evolutionary biological perspective. It's not a moral perspective. That's just evolutionary biology. Brett Weinstein, Heather Heyer talk about it. Right? Heather Heying talk about it. Right? All of this is very well established. When it comes to the morality is that a woman should not be promiscuous and a man should also not be promiscuous.
Yeah, okay.
Now, this is the part where Andrew Tate gets the diagnosis right, but he gets the solution wrong. So here is Andrew Tate talking about how women should not be promiscuous. It's bad for them.
Well, a woman could say that same thing if she decided. She could say, I can sleep with multiple men, but my men can't sleep with multiple women if she so choose. We're all free individuals, right?
Yeah, but you wouldn't agree if a woman said that.
I don't think, I would personally find that revolting, correct? But there are women who find what I say revolting.
So you're not telling other people what to think. You're just saying how you think.
Yeah, I mean, if I think if a man is not sexually exclusive, it's not the same as if a woman is, because with a woman you have the paternity issue. With a man you don't have a paternity issue. Look, read the Bible. Every single man had multiple wives. Not a single woman had multiple husbands. It's against the will of God. It's disgusting in the eyes of God himself.
Okay, so again, historically speaking, what Andrew Tate is saying is not wrong. Morally, the reason why church, where we talked about the capacity for change within eternal rules, moves towards monogamy as opposed to polygyny, right, where a man has multiple wives, the reason for that is because the sophisticated arrangement of one man and one woman is the best arrangement. And so it is not good when a woman is promiscuous. It also happens not to be good when a man is promiscuous. Those may not be equivalent.
How can they be equivalent? Everywhere in the Bible you see it talking about it, it's talking about a woman. It's talking about a woman having one man and the man having multiple wives. So what are we talking about for real?
Evolutionary biological terms. But that is why eternal morality suggests one man, one woman. So the point that I'm making here is that when the moorings of a society come loose, when the society starts to sort of float, when the iceberg is floating, is no longer moored to anything that keeps it stable, once that happens, the reactions tend to be extremely chaotic. You get an entire movement on the left that is incredibly destructive, and you get a reactive movement that gets a lot of the diagnosis right, but a lot of the diagnosis wrong, right? It gets a lot of diagnosis right and a lot of prescription wrong, right? We have many problems in our society. Those problems continue into the realm of male and female. It encourages bad behavior by women. But then the answer to that is not bad behavior by men. The answer to that is better behavior by women and better behavior by men. So if we're going to have a restoration, we need to have an actual restoration. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show is continuing right now. You're not going to want to miss it because we will be taking your calls on the very first broadcast day of the brand new year. If you're not a member, click the link in the description and join us.
Here's the speaking facts. All he was doing was speaking facts, guys. Hold on one second, all right? All right. So we're going to be moving on to the next video. We heard Ben Shapiro's thoughts on Andrew Tate. So we're going to move according to that, right? We're going to move according to that. All right. We'll watch one or two more videos, Woke Family, and then from there we'll be done for tonight, all right? Give me a second. Let's watch a little bit of It's Complicated. Let's get into a little bit of It's Complicated right now. And then from there we'll move forward. Okay. Actually, we never watched the interview between him and Pearl. Let's watch it. We'll watch a few minutes of it, and then from there we'll move forward.
Are you a 10? What's your body count? And what do you bring to the table?
Oh gosh. Am I a 10? No. I would say 1 to 10. I give myself a 5. I think on a good day I'm a 6.
She's honest.
Oh gosh. What's my body count? Well, I haven't killed anybody, so 0. What do I bring to the table?
Oh, she thinks she's smart.
I'm good with kids.
Bro thinks she's smart. She tried to twist the body count situation in regards to how many people she's killed instead of how many people she slept with. That's funny.
I'm very helpful and I'm very supportive, and I don't know if men value this, but I was thinking about this the other day. Whenever I'm with a guy, like, I always try to make his life like better. So if he has like something, like, even if it's like small, like, I always try to like make his life better and like think of things that are like unique to him. Like, I don't know, I used to like clean my ex-boyfriend's apartment, and so when he came back, he'd be like surprised with the clean apartment or stuff like that.
I think the answer you're looking for is, I am the table.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, and I will say, I make some mean chicken. I make such good chicken.
Yeah.
When you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a singer.
Okay. Do you plan on using your current YouTube status to launch your singing career?
Not as much. I might drop like an album at some point, maybe like Red Pill music. I like to freestyle rap too. People are surprised by that usually. Maybe, but not, that would never be like the main thing, but maybe as like a side thing.
That's funny.
Do you miss living in the US and why?
Yes, I miss my family a lot. And I miss, I don't like being like an 8-hour flight away from every collab or like every, yeah, I do miss the US, but I like playing volleyball in the UK.
How is dating different in the UK than it is in America?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's harder.
The men dress better in the UK.
Word.
And I'd say it's similar. The men dress better, and so do the women, actually.
You are the most prominent female in the manosphere. How did that happen?
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh gosh, it's like a long story. It was a couple months ago, I started a YouTube show, and I told myself I was going to stick to this live stream schedule. I was like, I'm going to do 3 days a week. I upped it to 4, but it was 3 days a week at the time. I'm going to have people from everywhere, and we're just going to talk about relationships. And I thought that London was cool because it's the only place in the world that, like, everybody, you'll meet someone from Spain, you'll meet somebody from Italy, you'll meet someone from all over Europe, and you know, it's like you'll have completely different views on relationships. And I just thought that was so cool how diverse it was. So that and hard work, I would say.
You've obviously grown in popularity in a short period of time because of your great work ethic. Where did that come from?
My dad, he's the hardest worker I've ever met in my life. Like, literally, he worked 60, 70 hours a week my whole life. And I was telling you this earlier, like, when I was a kid, I always felt like I was dumb. And it was because I was a year young for my grade. So, like, when I graduated high school, I was 17. And so I always just felt like I was, like, behind. And I just remember there was this one time when I was a kid, I was like really frustrated because I was really bad at math at the time. And I told my dad, I was like, Dad, like, I'm too stupid. I can't do this. Like, you know, I was being a woman, right?
Yeah.
Whining. And he told me, he said, it's not about how smart you are. It's about how hard you work. And I promise you, in 10 years, you're going to be ahead of everybody because you have that. You have that work ethic, and you can't teach that. You can have the smartest person. I would take a hard worker over a smart person every day. I hire people every day. And it just kind of stuck with me because it was like the older and older I got, the easier and easier life got for me. Like, I just feel like I've never been someone that's naturally talented at things, but I work really, really hard. And it's funny because like 17 or 18 and younger, it's really all about like what you're gifted, not like what God gave you basically. But it's kind of funny because the older you get, you really start to see like the divide in the people that worked hard the last 10 years and the people that didn't. Because the people that didn't end up getting really fat. Shout out to a lot of y'all I went to high school with.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, man. Woke family, I think we're gonna end up the stream for tonight. I don't know. We could probably watch one more video. I don't want to sit here and listen to the whole 26 minutes. No disrespect to Pro. She seems like a cool person. But yeah. Give me 1 second. Woke family. Give me 1 second. Let's see if we can watch one video. Let's watch this. Shout out to Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. He basically goes over Destiny putting Sneeko and Fresh and Fit in a tough spot, and I think we'll be done. Actually, no, well, you guys want to watch? Hold on, I want to actually get MTR's take. I haven't watched a lot of his content in the past. I haven't watched a lot of his content in the past few days. You know, we'll watch a couple of minutes of this. We won't get into it all the way. And then after that, we'll watch a little bit on why he apparently believes that Andrew Tate is guilty. We'll see.
A lot of girls go on there just to
swipe right on Tinder 4.5% of the time. Tell me that's not them attention whoring, bro.
Look at a guy go on Tinder. That's what it looks like.
That's
not the same for girls.
And
if you're a guy on Tinder and then that's what you're doing, just do understand that you are of low value material.
I know you've seen the Courtney Ryan videos, and don't equate this like, oh, Miami girls are different.
a lot of girls go on there just to
swipe right on Tinder 4.5% of the time. Tell me that's not them attention whoring, bro.
Look at a guy go on Tinder. That's what it looks like.
That's
not the same for girls.
And if you're a guy on Tinder and then that's what you're doing, just do understand that you are of low value material.
I know you've seen the Courtney Ryan videos, and don't equate this like, oh, Miami girls are different.
They step back out of necessity.
They're from all different places of the earth. You're saying that it's just Miami, but how much do you think? Do you really think that they want to settle down with the average guy? We can do it right now.
It's a dumb question because nobody wants average. Like even an average guy, given like the opportunity, wouldn't want the average woman. Everybody wants about average. But I think there are a lot of, if you go talk to normal people outside of like the world of YouTube and shit, there are lots of average men with average women. Most people date and marry within their class, within their education, within their race, within their geographic region. That happens like 95% of people around the world. Like, yeah, of course,
why are
most
marriage
people
rates declining so much, and why are
marriage rates declining for a whole bunch of reasons that don't have to do with the one-dimensional analysis
This is
of
pretty
a
much
woman the celebrity one time on Instagram and now she won't go back
it's,
to another
it's
guy.
not just the celebrity thing, but it's all of hypergamy. That's why there's less marriage. People are like, don't know how to settle.
Hypergamy has nothing to do with marriage. You're playing the game again where you're saying one guy f***s a lot of women, it seems one guy dates a lot of women. Hypergamy doesn't keep women out of the dating
It's bigger
market.
than just the celebrity thing. It's Tinder, it's social media. People think that they have so many options now because of our phone.
He's right.
It's not just the
Okay, newsflash, because men don't know this, women have always had a lot of options.
Actually, no. Well, this is the thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I disagree with that. Even though you're gonna be like, oh yeah, you're not a woman. Who are you to speak on it? But this is the thing. I think that women respected men a lot more before the uprise of social media, like Instagram, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, VLK, all that, right? And as those apps started to come a lot more, even Snapchat too, women have started to respect men a lot less because they feel like if it doesn't work out with this man, there's always another man that's going to be willing to do the things that I wanted to do. I want him to do. Therefore, they don't respect men as much. Understand? And I think it's sad, but at the same time as well too, as a man, when you're seeing these things, you got to use it as an opportunity to self-improve, right? It is what it is. Let's continue though.
Since the year zero, every single woman
not
has
like it
been
is
offered
now.
by every single guy they talk to.
No,
Yes.
now they
Since
talk
you're-
to 1,000
until you're,
guys a
that
day.
doesn't matter. Since you're 11 years old,
You
you
and
got
your
guys that are
homeboys.
hitting on you constantly. Like, no, hold on. Men see Tinder today, and they're like, "Oh my god, a woman can open her phone and find 100 guys to." Bro, in 1980, a woman could walk outside and find 100 guys to. It's not new.
No,
I agree that women have always had a lot of options, but to not consider the degree or the scale of the options in our tumultuous social media society as it is considered today, I think is a bit short-sighted. But the fact is, it's really not just about social media. It's really just the advancement of technology, which increases the access from person to person. I mean, shit, think about the increase of access when we went from horse and buggy to cars, or when we went from cars to planes. But now that we've gone from planes to social media, the scale is now as infinite as the people that exist on this planet. The fact is that throughout human history, beautiful women have had men fiercely competing for them. But now through the internet, that competition has turned hyper competitive. And these hyper competitive men may slide into a girl's DM, thus increasing what she thinks her value is in the world on the society. But often they misconstrue their sexual value versus their relationship value.
You're right. However, there's skill. Before, they have to go outside and find the guys. Now they could be in their home, on a plane. It's like, for example, in this case, the skill is different. It's global.
It's not global for 99% of people. A girl go in Kansas City is like getting flown out to Dubai.
Yeah, she is, bro.
You guys are wild. You guys are wild.
You're coping.
Hold on, I just want to hear, for the record, for you three to answer this, what percentage of college women do you think are being flown around the world? I want to hear from all
If
three
I
of
had
you.
to argue,
I want to hear.
off of like probability wise, if I argue, maybe like 30, 40, 50.
That's a high number. That's a high number.
Wait a minute, before we go on. Notice the responses from the table. Sneaker's like, nah, bro. I'm sitting out this one. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not giving no number for this one. No support for Fresh over here. I wonder what Myra's about to say. All of the women over here are just blank stares, just completely confused at what the hell that he's talking about. 30, 40, 50%, that's high as shit. Destiny, like, I got him. That's so high. For example, I went to Penn State University for undergrad. In all of the campuses, it's about 80,000 people. So 40,000 of those are women. So 50% of that is 20,000. So you think 20,000 women on that campus are getting flown out to Dubai? That's ridiculous. Yeah. Even on the low side of the scale, right? What is that, 12?
I still think it's a lot of women, but thousands of women, I don't know. But then again, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows?
1,000 people, 12,000 women getting flown out to Dubai at 30%. That's absolutely ridiculous.
So I can answer this question properly. Does she live on campus and she's a college student?
Yeah.
Properly.
Then she's going to go ahead and settle for the top guys on her college campus.
Okay, so geography class, so the thing I said earlier.
Yeah.
What if she's staying at home? Yeah, I said that people tend to date within their
But you got to remember, a typical university is going to have kids from all over the country.
Okay, say it's a state school in Iowa. Are those girls getting flown to Dubai?
Off season, they can be.
Okay, 30, 40%, is that what you said?
It's a lot.
Well, globally speaking, but I'm just saying, like, for example,
you understand that's the actual number is like less than 0.1%, right?
Just real quick, I think Fresh's numbers are actually coming from the unrealistic microcosm of our society called Instagram. What do I mean by this? Well, if you go up on Instagram, within 10 minutes, you can see 200 beautiful women. But walk on a college campus, and you may not see 200 beautiful women until 3 or 4 weeks. So I think his numbers are just skewed by what.
I don't know about that. I think there's a lot of beautiful women everywhere, bro. Are you trying to say that, like, MTR, shout out to you, though, but are you trying to say that there's more ugly women than there are beautiful women in the world? I think that's cap. I think there's a lot of beautiful women in this world. And it's not me coping or simping. I'm just being honest, right?
What he sees as he flicks on social media. Yeah, like maybe 30, 40 to 50% of the women that you look at on Instagram get flued out to Dubai to get on. You understand what I'm saying? Let's proceed.
Getting flown out?
Of girls getting flown out to guys from college, normal
Very
girls.
little. Very little.
It's
very little.
I'm from Vegas and now I'm Miami. I've never done that.
Have you ever been flown out?
You've
never been flown out?
I mean, Destiny, I don't think the point here. I don't think the important thing here is to establish of girls getting flown out. It's that the opportunity is there, and on top of that, if you're going to use college girls, for example, right? Because I've talked about this with college campuses, etc. most of the women gravitate towards the highest status men. Who are these guys? The fraternity guys and the sports guys.
For sex, not for dating. The top guys aren't dating all the women.
Yeah, the thing is, they want that guy, and they think they can date that guy. Yeah. So it's difficult for them to go backwards when they have an influx of options. Here's the thing.
Wait, what's? Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
So it's difficult for them to go back, but they also misconstrue their dating value versus their sexual.
That's what Myron is saying. Yeah, that's what Myron is saying, bro.
Marketplace value. And those things are very different. Like, for example, for sexual marketplace value, yeah, perhaps getting your BBLs and getting your eyelashes looking like this and getting your chest implants, all these things, maybe that raises your sexual marketplace value, your recreational use marketplace value, but it doesn't raise your marriageable material market value or even your courting market value at all. And they get these things confused when they look down into their DMs and they see a blue check mark. Let's proceed.
I get what you're saying, that, girls have been getting hit on since the 80s and everything else like that. The difference is scale, right? So if a girl has a basic internet profile, right, and she's somewhat attractive and has some Instagram or maybe even a Tinder or a Bumble, etc., she is going to have hundreds, if not thousands of options, whereas 20, 30 years ago, before the advent of social media and the internet, she would have had to go outside to get that same level. She would have had to put herself together, go to a nightclub, put herself in a social situation, etc. But nowadays, she could sit at home, put some pictures up, and get the same level of attention, if not 10 times more, from men all over the country, all over the world. Now, am I saying that every girl's going to bite on it and actually get flued out by a blue star, a blue check rapper? No. But that goes a lot to her psyche as to, okay, I'm getting hit up by this caliber of man. I probably deserve this caliber of man to some degree. This is why most women nowadays don't want to date average guys.
The standards have been raised, and you know that.
The standards have been raised, but for a totally different reason.
And let me say another thing
social
too.
media.
Here's the other part of it. So they're getting attention on the internet. Now here's the second part of it. I'm writing a whole book about this shit. Feminism. Women make their own money now.
Yes, that's the reason. So, not the social media.
It's a two-pronged thing.
The working is way more.
It's a two-pronged thing. It's a multivariate situation. But feminism is also a large component, because with feminism, women make their own money. So they no longer have to saddle themselves with a loser that could provide, because they could provide it themselves. So if I can make my own money, and I want men as a choice, not necessarily a necessity like 50 years ago, I'm going to pick the best I can absolutely get and not settle for less, which is why a lot of women feel as though I make $100,000 per year, I'm attractive, I get attention, I want a top tier caliber guy. This is where a lot of women stand.
Sure. So firstly, the average decently hot chick on a college campus does not have guys from all over the world in her DMs. That's an exceptional person. That's not the average person. That's not the average person.
I'm in DMs.
It's not the average. You guys are only seeing the people that are reaching out to the shows, or the people that are trying to blow their shit up.
I'm in their DMms.
Maybe Sneeko is perusing fucking Florida State University fucking girls on Instagram. The average pretty hot girls on Instagram are not I feel like you guys think that 25% of girls wake up in the morning, take some pictures of their feet for OnlyFans, make $500 doing that.
That's not right.
They get on Tinder, they get a free steak dinner, they go to class, they plan their Friday, Saturday around which guy is going to fly around, and that's a quarter of girls on college campuses. That's not how it's going. And then to what you were saying about how girls are, the ones that aren't international, they're just the top guys on their college campuses. What's the difference between that now and over the past 100 years? There have always been top men in every area of life. You're never in an area in life where it's just one guy and one girl and you're isolated from everybody else. You're always in jobs where are bosses and managers and CEOs. You're always in colleges or schools where there are top performing students or athletes. You're always in communities where there are the leaders of the community. This has always been the history of competing in society for women. There's nothing new today about that, aside from maybe some girls are in Instagram. But I don't think it's the 20 to 30 to 40% or whatever that Fresh said are getting floated around the world.
I think that they're both right. Instagram, because it's a visual application, it favors women. Why? Because men are visual in nature. So a woman 30 years ago who's a 6 may not have gotten a lot of attention from the guys in her geographical region, but take that 6 and put it on Instagram, and there's a lot more dudes that would be attracted to it because she has access to the geography outside of where she is from.
Yeah, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, facts.
At the same time, I agree with what
Instagram, facts.
Myron said. Modern women today have an access to just as much money as what a man makes, and they use that or their college degrees and education as a barometer to think of what type of man that they have access to.
I just find it funny because the thing is that you'll see these women that are making a lot of money, right? 100K, 500K, $1 million, whatever, and so on and so forth. That think that because they make their own money that a man should still spend on them, which is not a problem, right? I think if you're making your own money and you want a man to spend on you, then you should equally give him access to the money that you have. 100%. Because if you're trusting him to lead you and spend his own money on you, then why can't you submit yourself fully to that man and give him 100% of your money and have him manage the money?
Has left them in a completely deluded state where they can't get beyond their own achievements to understand that most men don't even like that shit. Let's proceed.
I'm saying is that it's opened up, and it used to be a dating marketplace where it was just localized. Now it's globalized. And I'm not saying they're actually going out and flying with these guys, but they have the option to do it. Yeah. And that does a lot for a person's psyche when they know this is the caliber of guy that's reaching out to me. I'm gonna put that in my back pocket and use that validation to make myself feel a certain way. And this is why girls, again, in the book I talk about this explicitly. Women on Tinder and Bumble, they spend several hours on the site. However, most girls never either don't swipe right or they never actually go on a date, but they spend a ridiculous amount of time on Tinder. Why? Well, it's because attention. Validation helps boost their ego. A lot of girls I've seen create a Tinder account after getting broken up with just so they can feel better.
Yeah, I'm sure some people do
Some
it.
guys
but
do
I just
it
think
too,
the problem is that we talk about
A lot
the
of men
problem
do
is
that too.
so
Even if you want to say some guys are doing it too, the average guy is not getting as much attention as the average girl on these dating apps. That's the reality. Even on Instagram. He has to become a man of substance, a man of value to be able to get equally as much attention or a little bit more attention than you're getting. That's the reality.
overstated. The problem is so overstated. And then you feed these people these narratives that like, yeah, people have this idea that like you're just up in the dating room, you can't compete.
Girls go on Tinder to get attention.
No,
big difference.
it's the same thing.
Guy goes on Tinder with
A lot go on there to get their hips rearranged.
the express intent of meeting the girl and having sex with the girl. The girl goes on Tinder for the express intent of talking to that guy and never reciprocating physically.
That's facts.
Do you not know how many thirsty out there? Like,
I think this is a weird argument for him to present because the conclusion is that he's never gone on to a dating app and received the guts or cheeks because of it. I think it would have been more accurate if he said 9s and 10s go on Tinder for validation, because that I can understand, because 9s and 10s don't need to be on dating apps because they get way too much validation and attention within.
MTR, you don't got to shame them, bro. I'm just going to be honest. It's not about just 9s or 10s. Even 7s and 6s are believing that they're better than the average man, bro. It's not about just 9s or 10s, bro. It goes further than that, honestly.
And where they live at. Most of those girls, I would agree, are on there for validation. Let's see what the young lady over here has to say, though.
a lot of girls go on there just to
Swipe right on Tinder
Yeah, they do.
4.5% of the time. Tell me that's not that attention whoring, bro.
Look at a guy go on Tinder. That's what it looks like.
That's
not the same for girls.
And
if you're a guy on Tinder and then that's what you're doing, just do understand that you are of low value material.
They swipe right on 4.5, and the flake rate of that 4.5% is somewhere between 53 to 70%. Women flaking.
Unless if she does go on a date, she'll make it turned off, so nothing will happen.
Girls universally
Have you seen
use
the girls
dating
that are
apps.
in Miami?
They use
A
dating
lot of
apps
girls
to
don't.
funnel people
Miami is not just the whole world, though. Miami's just Miami.
to OnlyFans or to get attention.
Anything. They just
Hold on, are you on Tinder?
I am not on Tinder, but I know a lot of girls that are,
There's a lot
and
of thoughts
they
on
literally
Tinder.
just go to fuck. Like
Really?
it's not to have any emotional connection or to
Really?
get any. It's literally to.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many girls do you know that use Tinder too? Because you would say.
More than 10. Yeah.
Of your friends?
Okay, wait, hold on, dude. I feel like you guys have no real world experience. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm not the yeah, I do. I'm apparently the only one here. That
And now
does.
you're real
Listen,
world there, guy, gaming all day. Okay.
I'm 10 years older than you. Okay, you've got like 6 years in the adult world.
Well, you said it
barely,
for them to be
because
the
you've
same
been
age as you.
YouTubing your entire life. You haven't even lived a real life
Okay,
yet.
you're
okay?
the same age as you.
So-
You game all day, but you have more life
that's
experience.
great. That's great. Okay. So if you go to California as a normal guy, okay, without putting my socials or anything on Tinder, it's a hard game. You're swiping a lot and you're doing a lot of conversations. But I was f***ing girls on Tinder in California, and I'm not like a f***ing ripped
What
nigga
year?
Chad.
What year? How long ago?
Like I lived in California. I lived in Glendale 4 years ago, Culver City 3 years ago, Huntington Beach 2
When
years
were you
ago.
killing it on Tinder?
And not killing it, but like I could probably find like 1 to 2 girls a month.
What year was this?
What?
What year was this?
Like in the past like 2, 3, 4 years.
Listen, if this blue-haired feminist with his smooth muscles is able to find 1 to 2 women per month, then a lot of you guys have a lot of explaining to do. You understand what I'm saying? By the way, I'm just joking, by the way. I really bang with your content, Destiny. Let's proceed.
2, 3, 4 years ago. You can do it as a guy.
No.
But bro, have you guys on Tinder you've got random pictures of mountains. You've got blurry selfies. You've got like a picture of you in the dark corner of the room where you look like a sociopath. And the guys will come out. No, hold on. These perfect guys will come out. These like 5'11" dudes that look perfectly fine. We're like, oh, I'm not 6'2". Like, I can't get any girls. They're hypergamous. Blah blah blah. It's like, no, mother. You either act weird, your pictures suck, or you're not putting any effort in. You get shot down by 2 girls on Tinder, and you spend the rest of your life browsing like red pill videos, talking about how like all women are shit or whatever. Like that's what happens.
Destiny, your own explanation of 1 to 2 a month, maybe. It says a lot. Dude, guys are struggling, bro. Especially on Tinder, bro.
Okay, in college? Wait, hold on. You think the average guy is like, if they could 1 or 2 different girls a month, they wouldn't be happy?
That's not what he's saying.
If they can. And you're saying that you did. That doesn't mean that they can.
No, okay. I'm not trying to be too self-deprecating, okay?
And you're also famous, Destiny.
I'm not no. That was without social because I didn't want to find people that found me through my stream.
But the girls did research, bro. I promise.
How are you going to find me through research?
Bro, yo, a girl can look at your Tinder profile, put your face into this app, which will go ahead and link you to social media.
Different pictures. It's obvious. I can obviously tell when a girl knows me or don't. There were a couple that I would meet up and they would say some shit. You could say no cap all you want, but there are a ton of people that use Tinder. There are a ton of people that hook up. I wasn't that famous 3 or 4 years ago. I've blown up a lot over the past like year or two, bro. Or we could do the alternative, which is
we can't compare you to a regular guy.
Hold on. A normal guy on Tinder, that's unbelievable. But 40% of women on an Iowa, Kansas City college campus are getting flown out to Dubai. That's the world we're in right now. Just to be clear, that's what we're saying as well. Okay?
Oh, the bird right there. Yo, he's a debate master. He's a debate wizard. I love what he did right there because people are getting on him for him being a normal guy on Tinder, banging 1 or 2 per month, which, I think if you spend all of your time on Tinder just swiping and shit like that, you can absolutely hit that achievement, especially like if you don't do all the things that he's talking about. Get yourself about that dark room, go get a photographer, go get some good lighting photos, put it up on there, smile, show a little bit of teeth, all of those different type of things like that. But then to bring it back from a conversation from a couple of minutes ago about the ridiculousness of 30 to 40 to 50% of women getting flown out to Dubai, I think is debate genius right there. Let's proceed.
All schools around America. I didn't just say Iowa, okay?
Even though all schools around the world, the number's less than 1%.
And they may have options. Doesn't mean that they're actually going to do it. I'm just saying the possibility is there that they can actually do it.
They've been offered.
Okay.
They've been offered.
All right, I don't want to dominate the topic.
No, it's fine. I mean, like I said, but it's. I mean, the Tinder and the dating app stats are bro, they're universal. And I agree with you. A big part of the reason why guys fail is because their pictures do suck. There's accountability there. Yeah. However, a woman can take shitty pictures and still kill it on Tinder versus a guy can't.
Not with finding relationships, though. You have to keep remembering our goals are different. Guys are looking for sex. Girls are usually looking for relationships. So, of course, like, girls can kill it on Instagram from the guy's perspective, but not from the woman's perspective.
Remember,
that's
they're
true.
still getting the opportunity to get the relationship. The man never gets an opportunity, period.
But it's a totally different set of problems, right? You know what? Like, guys don't know what it's like trying to curve a girl. It might be like a girl. That term doesn't even exist, right? Whereas girls might have like 15 different tests to find out if a guy is serious or not. And not to mention there's the whole like safety shit that comes up too. Like, it's totally different games that we play when it comes to hooking up with
people. At least they get that.
I completely disagree. We got to get him out of the house a little bit more. There's absolutely fuck girls that are out there. There's absolutely foodie calls that's going out in these streets right here. Let's go out to eat. She dined and dashes. You understand what I'm saying? By dine and dash, I mean that, you stay her up after that, like, yo, what's good? No responses and shit like that. Oh, okay, you just muse me for the money in my pocket in order to feed you that night. You sick bastard. It happens, though.
The opportunity is my point.
You guys have the opportunity. You just gotta make the opportunity happen.
Consider, right? Let's ask them how they feel about this whole dating topic of dating apps and Instagram.
Wait, let me say one final thing, and then you can go around, okay? You said something earlier that I 100% agree with, and I wish people would focus on it more. What? I think for the majority of human history, men needed to bring one thing to the table to get almost any girl they wanted, and that's an income. That's the only work that we had to put in. Whereas women from birth are trained to do a lot of things around the household, usually, especially in more traditional countries, like women are cleaning the house.
Yeah, they're doing all those things, but at the end of the day, if a man goes out and tries to provide, whether it's hunting, gathering, or even modern day jobs, when it comes to building infrastructure like highways, roads, bridges, houses, fighting wars, we could literally leave the house that day and never come back, and we're still not appreciated as much as a woman is just for existing. That's all I'm going to say in regards to this. We're gonna move on to the next video, and then we're gonna end stream, guys. We're 2 hours strong. Woke family, you know the vibes. We're gonna round off in like probably 5-10 minutes, man. We're almost done. Give me a second.
Absolutely breaking news out of Romania. All right? Actually, it's not so breaking, but your boy was on holiday. I'm back now, though, so forgive me. Anyway, the Tate brothers have been arrested in Romania, and this happened suspiciously close to a Twitter war that Andrew Tate was having with Greta Thunberg. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar who Greta Thunberg is, here's a quick clip.
People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? For more than
This girl was 16 at the time. This is the girl. Okay, so this is the girl who they made the meme. How dare you from? That's funny. That's funny. Bro, I would never listen to her. I'm sorry.
30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight.
So essentially, she's a female climate change activist that took the world by storm, was voted Time Best Person of the Year, and then inevitably had Donald Trump cyberbully her.
Yeah, you see her there on the cover of this magazine. They announced this yesterday. She's a 16-year-old climate activist. We should also note she has Asperger's syndrome, which she has said she views as a superpower. And they announced yesterday that she won this, that she was on the cover, though, of course, President Trump, Speaker Pelosi also in the running for that. And the president attacked her today on Twitter, saying Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend, essentially telling her that she needs to chill. Greta, chill.
So fast forward.
How did he attack her by saying that she needs to work on her anger management problem and she needs to chill? How was that an attack? Get up out of here, man. Weak people.
To 2022, and Andrew has found a reason to tweet at Greta, in which he writes, "Hello, Greta. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has a W16 8-liter quad turbo. My two Ferrari 812 Competizione have a 6.5-liter V12s. This is just a start." Obviously, he's changing the entire Earth's climate based off of his 33 cars and the emissions that they exude. But this is just a start. Please provide an email address so I can send you a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions. There's a picture right there with his Bugatti. To which she responded, "Yes, please enlighten me. Email me at smalldenergy@getalife.com." Very interesting turn that this has now taken. The golden child of the woke leftist movement has used the shaming tactic to get back at Andrew. But what I find so interesting is that these are the same types of people that will correlate a man's energy to his D and have no issues with that. But if you talk about the average waistline of the modern woman today, you're body shaming.
Exactly.
Body positivity apparently only applies to women. But here was Andrew's response to this.
Release some greenhouse gases.
Exactly. It's only body shaming when you talk about women. But when you talk about a man's size, oh, it's not body shaming. Get up out of here, man. Look at the hypocrites.
I'm obviously a stranger to online controversy. It's not something I often do. But now, the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is, "I have small energy." Why would that be your own email address, Greta? Strange. I mean, obviously I don't want to assume her gender. It's 50-50, but
that's funny.
It is what it is. I'm not actually mad at Greta. Please bring me pizza and make sure that these boxes are not recycled. Thank you. So I'm not actually mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot. And then because I called her out on it, the Global Matrix got this bot farm to like and retweet and all this bot commenting to try and pretend that her telling me that she has a small dick in her own email address somehow teaches me a lesson.
But it doesn't.
Welcome to a new episode of The Clown Show. But now I know, at least,
that's crazy,
that Greta, with her little hate-filled face, bitter, sitting somewhere without the heating on, in the cold, little hat, shivering.
Yeah.
Use my tweets, which is going to make my Twitter account far more fun into eternity.
So because of Andrew's video, people are alleging that the Romanian police was tipped off to his whereabouts because of the pizza box that was in that video, thus giving the police the green light to swoop in and make an arrest for alleged allegations. So based on news reports, the Tate brothers were apprehended based off of allegations of R-word and allegations off of human trafficking. Now, while they were detained, they maintained their right to remain silent according to their lawyer. Now, here's a quote actually taken from the BBC. The 4 suspects, so it was 2 others that was arrested with them, appear to have created an organized crime group with the purpose of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create online content meant to be seen on specialized websites for a cost. Now, what's also interesting about this is that Andrew Tate has openly admitted before that he does run previously a webcam business as well as being involved with dangerous people.
But I used to run a webcam studio like 5 or 6 years ago. I was never, and I never have been one of them guys. I don't go on sites. I don't do none of them shit. I never have, because I've never needed to, right? Never been interested. By coincidence, I was on some website. I think it was a gaming website, some not Doppler, some crap. And in the corner it said, talk to live girls now. And it's something, I think it's because I just thought about the fact I had all these girls. I was like, so I clicked on it and I saw some Russian chick sitting there on some crappy webcam and like these little tokens coming in. Like she was sitting there like with her clothes on, like moving like this. Like just I was like, that makes money? That makes money? So I messaged all my girlfriends. I had 5 of them. I was like, look, you're moving to London. I've decided we need to be together. You're coming to London, blah, blah. She's like, well, I have nothing to do in London. I said, don't worry, I got a job for you, baby. It's going to be fine. You're going to come work for me. And I was sitting there for a while thinking, how do I organize the fact that these 5 girls are coming in thinking they're my girlfriend? And I want them all to do this job. And I decided that honesty is always the best policy. This is what we're going to do. And I talked about the webcam business, talked about how I've been with them all, asked them all to come to London, etc. 3 of them told me to get fucked, go back on a plane. 2 of them stayed. And the 2 who stayed worked for me for a very long time. And from there, for about the next 4 years, it built into an empire where I ended up having 75 girls, 5 locations. I was turning over $4 million a month. And it all it went crazy from there. You're in Albania with a bunch of dealers. You're in Chechnya. Most fighters are stupid. I'm quite unique, whereas the fact that I'm a fighter, but I'm not an idiot. So I could sit and talk to the money men. So I'd talk to them, and I'd talk to like Albanians or Chechnyans, and these guys would be on the most wanted list. And then they'd show me a picture of them in Dubai, picture of them in London shopping. Say, how you do that? Oh, I got this passport from here, got that passport from here. I got a passport in another country and then changed my name in that country. They were just doing all this stuff, and I was sitting there going, why don't I do that?
Now, amongst all of those clips that I just showed you, none of them is a smoking gun for anything within this situation. However, there's one other news clip and story that's going around that I think that you guys should take note of. Andrew Tate tried to recruit me to his webcam operation when I was 16, reveals Romanian politician's daughter. Daria Gusa, the daughter of political analyst, journalist, and businessman Cosmin Gusa, said she received a message online from the influencer who was arrested last week as part of the probe into...
They always try to come out when somebody's arrested and claim that he did this, that, and the third. Where were you before? Why are you trying to come out now, even if it's apparently true? I just think it's somewhat suspicious.
The crimes. Miss Gusa, now 19, says she turned down his direct offer to go out with him and said she is amazed it has taken so long for the authorities to crack down on his operation. With 2...
This is the reality, bro. When you're a successful man, you're always going to have certain women or certain people in your life from your past try to come back and eliminate you. Or let's just say they're not from your past. They're people that don't know you. And they're going to try to come up with false stories and say that you did something that you didn't do. So just be aware.
2 of his angels also arrested.
All right, we're going to skip to the last 2 minutes, man. We're going to end stream woke family. I think we're done, man.
Nevertheless, if they find... And truth be told, all we can do at this point is wait and see what the Romanian police do with him. He's currently being detained for 30 days based off of the seriousness of the allegation. And something that I always think of is, imagine if you are alleged in doing something and you're not a billionaire or even a millionaire. What do? You sit and stew in jail and you come back to no job based off of an allegation. But I'm still gonna give you guys my opinion. You cannot attain Andrew's level of success, his level of notoriety this quickly and go against the establishment and not expect the establishment to try to destroy you by any means necessary. First, the allegations will come, and then they'll try to cancel you. And if you're a man, those allegations usually come in assault.
That's facts.
And if they cannot destroy your livelihood or the canceling does not work,
they'll jail you, and then after they jail you, they'll off you. It's disgusting. But as long as you admit that you would never off yourself, that's all that matters.
then they'll try to jail you. And if they cannot legally jail you or hold you in prison, then you must be concerned with Control Alt Delete.
Yep.
But nevertheless, if they find concrete evidence of wrongdoing, then they should throw Andrew underneath the jail. But if not, if they are unable to legitimately prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, then the next stage of his fame is going to be beyond incredible.
I'm telling you, let it happen, man. Free Andrew Tate.
Questions?
All right, guys. Listen, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning into the live stream, man. It was very, very thrilling live stream. I appreciate y'all for tapping in, y'all tuning in, man. We're gonna be back here again tomorrow for 9 p.m. W Daily Streamer, you know the vibes. Woke family, we're just getting started. 2023 is gonna be a great year. We're gonna fight the powers that be. We're gonna fight the powers that are trying to attack us in any way, shape, or form, right? But yes. Yes. Listen, this is gonna be into this live stream. If you like this live stream, make sure you go spam that like button, leave comments, share this live stream with your friends, subscribe to the channel at Woke Ebuks, WOKEEBUKS. Tap the notification bell to get all the latest videos that I post. For what I'm saying, Woke family, listen. Patreon link will be down in the description below. And so social media links, so make sure you go give those a check. But without further ado, let's come into this live stream. This is Woke Ebuks.